Welcome to Mechs on Deck. How is everyone doing tonight?
You know, I hate people that shill for sponsors. Like, what kind of person do you think you are? Do you just show up on a stream, just sponsoring people? Just like, listen, all I do is shill for sponsors and give out stuff that's free and like rep all the stuff and show off all these brands. And like, screw those people. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, who do they think they are?
Exactly.
Oh man. Well, if you couldn't tell, we have our guest tonight is Dixie. How you doing, my dude?
Hello. I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all?
Doing well.
Bantership, thank you for the recognition.
I'm
Welcome.
doing well. Doing well.
A Wayne and Pilot TXJ, thank you for the subs, my guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of lag today. Sorry, Discord is just deciding to. Yeah, I also happen to be downloading like 97 gigs of movies, but you know that's.
It seemed all smooth before the stream started. I guess it was just one too many variables.
Yeah. Too much college football. We've pretty much so we've decided that instead of talking about keyboards tonight, we're just going to be a college football talk show.
Dang, I am lagging.
Sliding in. What's up?
I'm gonna click this off and click it back on.
Hey,
there you go.
Turning it off and turning it back on.
Is that better?
That's what you should do for the most part, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
it seems better.
How are we doing? Okay. How is everybody doing? We're back. I'm back. I'm back in my location for an interview stream. I'm not outside.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Dixie last week. I had to stream in Norman because I was visiting family on Thanksgiving, and for it to be quiet, I had to go outside, and it was like 40 degrees outside. And I was like my laptop and with my camera and my mic sitting there. I was like, "Hey, Mike."
Pretty diehard.
You know, you got to until the battery died, and then I was literally just walking around the backyard on my phone,
pacing.
Pretty much.
Just like I can't see anything. Just gonna talk.
Oh, I hit a tree. Tripped over a root.
Yeah, actually, I was avoiding trying to step in dog crap. It's like, ooh.
I'm just recovering from this weekend's horrible loss. Still repping my Tide here for y'all. I always do when I'm on the show.
There you go, dude. Roll Tide, man.
You know, we'll say it. Roll Tide. They're not a threat anymore. So Roll Tide.
Yeah, everybody's saying it now. Nobody cares anymore. Never do you think the Alabama Auburn Reddit thread is going to be number one on all with like 60,000 upvotes. Auburn beats Alabama. And I was like, close.
That's enough Reddit for the day.
Yeah. But
anyway, real quick, shout out to our sponsors, switchmod.net/Mechs on Deck for 4% off your lube goodness. Springs, he's got keister keycaps that you can get. There they are. Lighting's a little goofy. I'm still working on it, but and other cool stuff from him. So be sure to check that out. You can go to Zap Cables and get yourself a awesome custom cable that he will make through cable runs. You can also do DIY kits. You can watch our video that we have on YouTube as well to learn how to do it, or you might be able to catch it from our 24-hour stream. Sort of. We don't really go too in detail, but it's there for any extra tips.
If you can feel bad about yourself and watch John make a cable in 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Well, we just sit there and struggle. And last but not least,
the man himself.
It's backwards. This guy.
No, it's not backwards.
It's backwards for me, at least.
We literally talked about this before we started.
Could you tell I'm sponsored? I just felt like Dixie Mech. Oh, by the way, quick subtle shout out over there, because look at that little home sweet home Dixie mat.
Yeah,
sitting in the back.
No, I have boxes of mats right here.
There you go. Pick them up. Are those the rose ones? The rose desk mat's being used by my wife. That's just off
It's
camera.
all
right
of
here.
them. All of them right there in a row. We finished packing them this morning
There you go.
from Black Friday.
Good. So many desk
So
mats. But
thank you
Yeah.
for the sponsors.
yeah, you didn't shout out the link though, which is mechsondeck.dixiemech.com,
Mechsondeck.dixiemech.com.
which
I will.
as of today you can go to mechsondeck.dixiemech.com and get a set that I'm very excited for, GMK Dual Shot. It's pretty sweet. Cool theme, cool colors. The desk mat for that one is awesome.
Hot take. Not a fan. I'm sorry.
I'm starting to think that Chewy doesn't like anything. Doesn't like 65% boards.
Yeah.
He did like Terra though.
I love Terra. I love Terra, and I love Dual Shot. The mat to me is like almost better as a desktop background. Like I might actually.
I mean, I could do that too
as a wallpaper for my computer, but I don't know. I just looked at it and I was like, I mean, it's a cool image, but on a desk mat, I just don't know if I would like it because I feel like it's one of those things that I'm like, this is cool, but I want to see it. I don't want to cover it.
There's a big giant blank spot right there for you to put your keyboard on.
Yeah, it's
Specifically
really,
for you.
really nice.
I'm glad that you were keeping me in mind.
I saw Tyson say he bought one to put his PlayStation on.
That's next level.
I would.
And I was like, see, that's a market that's untapped. Console mats.
Console mats.
Because there's a need there.
We need more.
You want to make your console overheat?
Put it on.
Do you want to make your
all
console
airflow.
100% more flammable?
You want to lower your frames and get bad performance?
This desk mat.
Look no further than DixieMech.com.
And yes, the shipping does cost half the cost of the desk mat.
At least, yeah, exactly. I mean, you look. At least you look cool doing it.
That's all that matters.
Dude.
Air hockey mat.
Listen, we are in a hobby where as long as your keyboard looks and sounds cool, it does nothing else matters.
I don't even plug mine up.
It could, yeah, exactly. it could feel terrible. It could not even work. You might not even have had it soldered in. Who cares? You can't see the PCB. But
you can't see it, it don't matter.
Who cares if it's an unbuilt TGR? You still get that clout. No one knows.
Hey,
Instagram likes.
right here.
Look at that. Boom. Right there. It's showing it off.
I was actually thinking about it today. I was like, what would happen if I got, like, say I changed jobs, like I changed career and I have something where I just don't type very often. Like say for whatever reason, I'm just like 100% on the road all the time and I'm just like not typing at all. What would I do with all my boards? So they just sit? I'd have to change them out every day.
Rotate them.
I'm sure you'd be on Discord when you got home.
It's true. It's true.
Unless you were like a pipeliner in Alaska with no internet. Then I really don't know what you do.
Then at least you could type up sick Word documents.
I just take up. I become one of those guys.
Be a writer. Boom. You could be like a sideshow Bob.
I'd be one of those guys where I'm doing the Alaskan king crab fishing, and all I bring with me is a keyboard, but nothing to plug it into, and it's just because I would just want to type on the keyboard.
How do you catch your fish? I just go into the water with my
GMV2, and they just swarm me.
Just beat them on the head with it.
Oh man,
Beatbox has a good idea.
Yeah,
rent keyboards out to people who want to seem like they have nice keyboards.
There you go.
It's like the Turo of the keyboard world.
One thing that I want to see, I think someone mentioned this on our 24-hour stream, and I think it'd be really cool, is do like Sisterhood of the Traveling Keyboard. So you get like a tofu with just like put some like everyone likes inks, and then just put like some inks in a tofu, and then like get 52 people on board, and then you just use it for like a week, and then you ship it to the next person, and then it's just like Sisterhood of the Traveling Keyboard. Let's make that happen. Let's use a brass bower, guys.
Use it? I've never seen that movie.
I don't know. It's just something. It's like Flat Stanley, if you know what Flat Stanley is.
Sounds familiar.
Isn't that the one where no matter how the size of the person, the pants still fit?
Yes, and there are two people.
So
that
we
are,
would
like,
use a
drastically-
65% board.
Yeah,
So
that
that
I mean,
Chewy loves it.
I wouldn't. I would suffer. I would suffer for a week if we. Yeah. Oh, maybe I should do that with a Baka. That would be fun.
What if someone just like dips? You know, they're just like, all right, this is mine now.
Oh, I thought you meant like.
Dips. Why is there so much dip spit in this keyboard? Rosdy doesn't even work
like-
anymore. It smells like death.
They're just like up and gone. They're just like, oh, my Baka now.
I thought it was Bacca. So the whole time I thought it was Bacca, like tobacco.
Tobacco. I'm only gonna talk tobacco now.
I totally thought that was supposed to be some Texas Southern like tobacco.
So good. The guy that helped me design, like 6 weeks, and I had the name, and then I had like a rough drawing, and I was like, "This is what I want." Like 6 weeks later, he's like, randomly he PMs me. He's like, "Oh my god, Baka means Chewbacca, right?" I was just like,
Hey,
I think I just sent him like ... I was like, "Are you serious?"
I think the Texas part of it like overtook the Chewbacca part for me. I like Bacca.
Back.
It's a little
And
southern.
you could put the big giant warning on the back of it, like
It was-
on the side of.
Yeah, but it has a tray that pulls out. And you can ash your cigarettes in it.
That'd be
another
sick.
Another tray that pulls out. You can dip your.
That would be the trashiest thing I've ever seen. There's nothing like a keyboard that is instead of foam, you use ash.
Ash.
Dude,
It naturally gets more sound dampening the more you and just chain smoke.
Hey, nobody's ever thought about the smell.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would smell so bad. I'm like, yeah, it probably would. Oh man, that would be that'd be pretty funny though.
We're just
Worth it.
designing boards. That's all we're doing. All right,
Yeah.
just designing boards on here.
If
We're
we're talking
innovating
about
right now.
innovation.
You take an 1800 layout, and you just don't build the numpad. Just
Exactly.
put like an H87 in there. Just put a tray and boom, easy.
Put a little sand in there.
Even better for the people that don't use cigarettes, make a little like a little bonsai tree,
Yeah, put a little rake.
or it could be a Zen garden.
Does the board come with a 6-pack of Coors?
No, dude, Keystone Light. Come on.
Keystone.
That's extra.
Light,
Comes with a 30-pack of Keystone.
Okay, I think we're off topic. Sorry.
So GMK Dual
Hey, we're
Shot.
talking about keyboards and how to innovate.
Dude,
So we want to talk
First,
about.
first question, Jeff Leopard asks Dixie Mech, are you sporting a mullet?
It seems like one when I'm wearing a hat. But no. It's actually all the same length. I just pull it behind my ears because I don't know what to do with it. So I guess you could say yes for now.
you're looking
There it
like,
is.
well, if you're
If
looking,
there was anyone in the keyboard community, the guy named Dixie Mech, I think, would be the one with the mullet. Party in the front, business in the front, party in the back.
dude, it's the way to
Yep.
do it. It is a
Dual shot.
way to do it. Dual shot. So, we didn't do the fast forward, but we've done that before. I don't know if there's necessarily anything that's changed.
Has anything changed?
I don't remember the question, so maybe.
All right.
All right.
And to be honest, I probably don't remember my answers. So that may be different.
I don't remember your answers either, so it's all good. So for those who don't know, we had Dixie back on in July. That did not sound convincing. July, I believe, was our Keycap Designer Month. You can check out that VOD on YouTube. But we're going to do the fast four. Number one, your top 4 favorite switches.
Blacks, yellows, Telios, inks.
So you're a tactile guy.
Yeah, I love.
The
Max
thickest,
tactility.
roundest bumps.
No, I'm linear all the way. And I kind of had to reach to even pick like a fourth one.
What about creams?
that-
You know, like creams?
There's actually creams in this board I'm using right now.
There you go.
This is actually my wife's board, but I'm using it. They're okay. I don't like the sound of them. Sound's a huge thing for me.
Mm.
A lot of people like feel. I don't think I have the talent to be able to feel that small of a difference in certain things. Yeah, I don't like they're a little loud for me. Um, I think it's possibly the brass plate in this. That could be what it is. It may not even be the switches. But inks are number one for me. Like they're just perfect in every way,
Nice.
as a lot of people say.
Yeah, it really came on pretty hard this year. Inks kind of they took over the market of linears.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it was one of the few products this year. Like a lot of products and keyboards, they're good, but they get way overhyped,
mhm.
and people just follow the chain of people saying they love them, and it keeps getting more dramatic and dramatic. But I think Inks is the one that actually deserved it.
Mhm.
It's kind of had a little bit of a dwindle with this weird leaf thingamajig. But I think for the most part, they deserve the praise.
Yeah, I had an ink board. I wound up selling it, not really because of the switches, but it was more of just like, I bet I could sell this easier if I tell people that it has inks in it
Do you
instead
regret
of.
it now? Were they the OG Inks?
Yes. Well, I
Mm.
don't know. Maybe. I got them back in the summer, so if that is OG, I'm
Uh,
sure. They didn't have leaf
Possibly.
problems.
I think
But
there were 2 rounds of the black ones before the colored ones came into play.
I don't remember. But ooh, Japanese horror rider with 1,000
Ooh,
bits. Thank you.
I got an
very much.
emote.
Ooh,
Thank.
there you go.
Easy. So, but yeah, I need to build another board with inks because I did really, really like them. But it was just one of those things where I'm like, I, I, I'm not a linear person, so and I've got
Yeah.
creams in one board, and I like linears, but it's not going to be something I put in a board that it's like this is the grail of all boards.
Yeah. I feel that way too. Which I'm hoping these 8 inks work out. Because that would be fun
Mhm.
to have
Those
some
would be
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all want to talk about that. I don't have too much to talk about. It's taken forever because communication is hard.
Mhm.
Because we're both kind of using Google Translate.
Ah.
And when I'm trying to say, like, a lot of people, I don't know if people knew, but on the interest check, a lot of people were raising the concern that because they aren't translucent, smoky, see-through housings, that it's not inks. Which no one has ever specifically stated that inks have to be. But I was like, I should probably get an actual answer on this before I do anything. Because there's so many people asking. So me
Yeah.
asking the question, will these be inks but opaque and not just recolored yellows? Is somehow it gets lost in translation really easily.
Mhm.
And I think they were kind of scared to give me the wrong answer. But I finally have someone who can translate. I tell him what I want, he can tell him. So we're kind of getting some movement now because there's no translation loss. So that's good. I was kind of afraid it would just die when he was like, "Yeah, they're just recolored yellows." But luckily that's not happening. But I kind of want, yeah. It hasn't been done, and we're working on making it happen. Opaque inks have not been done, but it can be done.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean it's just plastic. Like
Yeah, I basically just have to pay for them to make this new mixture and make it correctly. So that's
Mhm.
basically what's. We haven't started that process, but that's
Yeah,
kind of
we
where
need.
it's at.
That's another way. That's our third shirt, by the way. It's just plastic.
I love when people like diminish something to just be like, it's so crazy that people get so worked up over plastic. And I'm like, well, money is just paper, and a lot of time,
Yeah.
money isn't even a real thing.
Money
It's
is
just
just a number.
it's an
Yeah.
idea.
I can go
So
into Photoshop and make it look like I have a lot more.
yeah, so it's
No, yeah, there's a lot of processes in making that plastic the color and making it the same consistency and everything.
yeah, I'm a little like my concern level as far as priority is basically it's probably almost more on the side of making sure that they are inks and you're going to get the ink experience out of them more than the colors being perfect, because they are 75 cents a switch. So I don't want people to be paying double the price just for a new color. Like, but not to say that I'm not going to make the colors right, but we'll get there. It might take some time, but it's not dead yet.
So the next top 4 would be your top 4 favorite boards, and we'll exclude the Bauer.
Okay, that makes it a little easier. Harder, actually.
The Bauer.
Number
Bauer,
2,
right?
Rev 1, because I finally have it in person now. Which I think that was already in my top 4 last time, but it's still there. I'd say at the moment, the J80 is up there. Do y'all know what board that is?
There's one sitting right over there.
Yeah,
That's one that
I built one Saturday.
That's my biggest regret of this year, is not getting in that one. So yeah, that one's in my top 4 at this moment. Let's see. What else we got? Kind of forget what boards exist. We can throw Jane V2 in there. Can't go wrong with that. And I have a TKL I designed, actually. You didn't say I couldn't say that one, so I'm gonna put that one in there. That's 4 TKLs. What the heck?
Yeah, you're TKL fanboy.
That just happened. I don't even use
thought
TKL.
You were 65%. Like, come on, man.
Stuff changes for me a lot.
Yeah, last time I think
it's top 4 at this moment.
Your top was, I think, your M65.
60.
Your teal one.
Hey. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
I need to one day, maybe over a winter break, one day I'll just scrub through every interview and then just have a master list of everybody's top 4s.
Oh crap! That holds a lot more weight now. Let's remove Jane V2 and enter M65A. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
I don't even know what my top, like, every time that I get asked this, I'm like, the switches is easy. That's an easy one for me to answer, but everything else really starts to, like, after 1 and 2, 3 and 4 gets significantly more.
I can't pick top anything. I can't pick favorite movies, favorite TV shows, favorite songs. Like, I can't do it. If I do, it's like, this is my top 5 and no. I can't pick order.
I have a favorite movie. I Love You, Man. It's the greatest bromance of all time.
It's a good movie. We watched it at your bachelor party.
I told Osiris planned my bachelor party, and I said, I want to go to a house and do nothing, but the only required thing that we have to do is watch I Love You.
Slap at the bass, man.
Slap at the bass, man.
Slap at the bass.
Oh man,
I quote that all the time.
Yeah, someone clip him saying "slap at the bass," so I can use this as my text tone.
Slap at the bass, man.
You need to.
My wife gets really annoyed when I walk around saying that 5. I do the whole scene, like all 4 of the versions.
You got to figure out how to make a purchase noise when someone buys something on DixieMech.com. It's just slap in the bass, man.
Slap in the bass, man.
Someone doesn't realize they've got their computer turned all the way up. Just, what the?
Jesus Christ!
Face comes up like zoom in.
Oh,
so definitely
worth the dev time.
Keycap sets, top 4.
See, this one's hard too.
And you can't say 8008, and you can't say Dual Shot.
Okay, so none that I've designed, but I can pick one I've sold.
Yes,
that someone else designed. Okay, Modern Dolch.
Hey, look at that. Oh, right there. This is, by the way, this is like the basic white girl of keyboards right here. Gray PL.
It looks nice. I'd say Carbon Boneyard specifically. Dracula, if I can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably 9009. One that's not gray. I like gray. All my favorite sets are just what you would call boring sets. They, to an untrained eye, you'd think they were all the same set. That's just me.
I mean, they all look like Olivia, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So when Modern Dolch Plus Plus comes out, it's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be giant.
It's gonna make waves. Ask Dixie why. Ostex asks why are you wearing a hat with your name on it, with his name?
Dang, don't be so hard on yourself.
Oh man, the last of the Fast Four is your top 4 favorite foods.
I know number 1.
Yeah. Number
'Cause I
1
can't-
through 4 is Chick-fil-A.
I can't literally every time I have Chick-fil-A, I'm like, Dixie would be proud.
Yeah. So Chick-fil-A number 1. I'd say beef stroganoff. I'd say a good burrito. And my mom's spaghetti at 4.
There you go.
Only my mom's spaghetti. I don't like anybody else's spaghetti.
But are your arms sweaty?
I'm sure that is like so completely different than the last time you asked me.
I think
well,
Chick-fil-A was there.
Chick-fil-A was one.
Yeah, that one's
You're just
consistent.
like Chick-fil-A easy.
Chick-fil-A, I feel like I would consume so much more Chick-fil-A if the one that's right next to my work wasn't so damn busy all the time.
It's a problem. You got to see. I can teach you, okay? I can teach a class on how. I can just teach you right now. It'll take you like 5 seconds. You get the app. You order on the app. You order it for pickup on the inside. And then about 10 to 15 minutes before you get to the restaurant, you tell the app that you're already there. That way, they start making it before you get there. And then the second you walk in, or about a minute or two after it's done, you're not standing in the restaurant for that 10 or 15 minutes. Works every time.
Okay. Pro strats.
Yeah.
You may not learn anything about keyboards, but at least you learned on Mechs on Deck how to order Chick-fil-A through the app.
Oh man, yeah. Chick-fil-A, like if Vinnen says Chick-fil-A doesn't do well in Canada, well here Chick-fil-A is so busy that the one next to me, it has the like dual drive-through lines that are run by people because they can't man it from like a speaker. And
yeah, there's like 7 people taking your order.
Yeah.
A few of ours have the awnings that go all the way around so that the workers are, and they have fans and heaters. I mean, it's like you're in a spa if you're a drive-through worker.
Yeah. The one that I'm close by causes traffic jams because it will like go like 3 or 4 spots. The drive-through line will be on a major street.
That's like when they build Chick-fil-A's, when they're searching for land, they're like, okay, this is a very populated area. It's easy for people to get in. They're gonna drive by here a lot. And the most important thing is that the parking lot sucks, and that the drive-through is gonna back up the parking lot, and the parking lot's gonna back up the road, and the road's gonna back up the highway. And then before you know it, the whole country's jammed up because the Chick-fil-A's drive-through's too long.
Because they're trying to get their Chick-fil-A chicken.
I swear they purposely make it to where the drive-throughs just.
It's not just chicken, Urban. It's a way of life, right?
I used to park at the Applebee's next door and then walk over so that I wouldn't get stuck in the Chick-fil-A parking lot.
Dude, there's a mall. There's a mall out here that's not a very busy mall that has a Chick-fil-A inside of it, and then there's a Chick-fil-A on the outside of the mall.
Did the lines like meet and start meshing?
Maybe.
Which one are you going to, left or right? In the middle of the parking lot.
It's really funny when you look at it on like a map. Like if you search Chick-fil-A on Google Maps and you're looking around Willow Bend Mall, it's just like they're right next to each other.
Dots everywhere.
Yeah.
What does Chick-fil-A taste like? Fried chicken, and you get a little vinegary taste to it. Because pickles, and you always got to order extra pickles. At least that's how I
get no pickles.
See, no,
I get normal pickles. So we're all across the spectrum. The spectrum.
So you get that extra little vinegary taste, and then you eat it, and then you get the Chick-fil-A sauce, and you just dump it all over the buns, and then you eat. We had it right before we went to NorCal.
Yes, we did in the airport. We had a little
delicious
Chick-fil-A. I eat my Chick-fil-A sandwiches very strange. I eat about half the sandwich, then I eat the bread, and then I eat the rest of the Chick-fil-A, the chicken. So it's like one giant nugget.
Interesting.
It's
Low key, the French fries are actually the heavy weight puller at Chick-fil-A.
dude.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
And
So,
that
like,
mac and
people think
cheese,
it's
dude.
Yeah,
Oh, the
people
mac
think
and-
it's the
okay.
chicken.
The mac and cheese is actually like, oof.
It's really good.
I was surprised.
I'll
'Cause,
never
like-
choose it over the fries, though.
Oh yeah, well you just get both.
Yeah, why
It's
not
like,
both?
think about Chick-fil-A. If Chick-fil-A didn't have chicken and had hamburgers, you'd still eat there for the waffle fries.
Because the waffle fries are delicious.
But if they didn't have the waffle fries and only had the chicken, you'd probably pick somewhere else.
Yeah.
Zero
True.
Apocalypse, at least out in Dallas, it is. You cannot get Chick-fil-A on Sunday, and then
Anywhere on earth.
Yeah.
that's why you got to buy a lot so that you can save it.
So
Yeah, you buy it on Saturday and save it.
if you open, if you're a Chick-fil-A franchise owner and you open on Sunday, you immediately get your franchise shit stripped from you.
Heavy duty.
It's the way of life.
Anyway, GMK Dual
Sorry.
Shot.
Yeah, we're doing
Yeah,
this again.
we got a question about bechamel sauce in the chat for their mac and cheese. We have no idea. All right, keyboards.
This has gotten just slightly off topic, but you know what? You come for the keyboards, you stay for the food.
I don't know if it's just me, but we do this every time. We have too much in common. Okay.
You know, next time we'll have to get Chick-fil-A. We'll have to be
yeah.
eating
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh fuck.
Now
hell
that's
yeah.
definitely should be doing that next
Big
time.
brain January stream, and then right after that, before cleaning our hands, we'll just type on all of our favorite keys.
If you go to my kitchen right now, there's about 7 Chick-fil-A cups all over the aisle. Either like every meal.
So
every
we're like
day.
that with Sonic. We get Sonic drinks like every other day. Anyway, Dual Shot. So if you guys don't know, let me post a link to. Do you want me? I guess I should post it. Launch today. So Dual Shot. It's an awesome set. Loosely, and not by loosely, I mean heavily designed and inspired by the old PlayStation, the PlayStation controller, and the color scheme. It is a great set. One thing that immediately caught my attention is GMK colors. So price is going to be a lot lower. I believe it's what, $120 for a base kit.
Yeah, $119.
$119 for a base kit. So solid set. It kind of has that it's always related to Oblivion, when anytime there is a
Gray.
mod, a mod set that has multiple colors.
Oh yeah.
That's the Oblivion kind of style of each row has a different color of on the mods, so it's very unique. Definitely go check it out. It's one that has me thinking. I'm like, maybe do I buy 2 key sets in 1 month?
Wow.
It had me, and I think you were here when I said this the first time. It had me questioning whether or not I wanted to get Olivia.
Well, it's tough because the other
Wow.
thing too, not that I wouldn't want to not buy something, but it's got, so in 9 is the very, very dark gray for the space bars. I'm like, well, I've already got a space bar from GMK 9s that matches that. And then I've also got the Skidata split space bar set. So if I wanted to put that on my OSA, I'm like,
You already
I could
covered.
even have that with keys that don't even exist in this set.
Yeah.
So it's an awesome set. Check it out. I do think that these kind of it's colorful but still monochromatic, if that makes sense, because there's just hints of colors there, and it looks excellent. So go check it out. You can use our link mechsondeck.dixiemech.com if you want to get it. So obviously we know where the inspiration came from, but what kind of led to you did 8008. So going from 8008, what kind of led you into this?
For a while, I unlike 8008, where I was just in life, saw something, boom, I wanted to make something. It was kind of the opposite part of the spectrum, where I kind of just I said I wanted to design a set with stock colors. Because, I mean, that's kind of hard to do these days, because there's only so many, and almost every combination of those specific colors has been done. But But I knew December is always like one of the hardest months in key sets, which is kind of the opposite of every other market. But just because people are buying stuff for other people usually, or traveling, and the money just isn't there to spend on keyboards. And I knew Olivia was going live in December. So I was like, I want something that's a little less pressure so that I don't have to be stressing at the end of the year, hoping it hits MOQ and all this stuff. And I almost didn't even run a set in December because I was like, I'm not just going to throw something together just to say that I did it. Just to say, hey, look, I got one. Don't forget about me. So for months, I've just been playing with the stock colors, just sitting on my couch when we're watching TV, just trying to find combinations. And then I think it might have, I don't know where I saw an image of the PlayStation. I don't know if it was the PlayStation Classic popped up, this new one that they came out with like last year or something. But it came up like in the same moment that I was playing with the caps, like when I was scrolling through something. And I was like, wait a second, that could work because it's basically gray, but the colors are usually, they seem like they could work. And then I started playing with it and I was like, wow, this actually, for the most part, works. And it kind of went from there and just started doing all the renders. So it wasn't as special and fun of a story as 8008. It was more just grinding it out until I found something that I liked with stock colors. So many times I would find a set that worked with stock colors, but I needed one custom color. And I was like, dang. Like I have like 5 sets that I designed in this process of trying to get to this one. But I finally landed on one that could work with all stock colors. And then posted the interest check, and then all the community feedback made it even awesomer with the novelties that for some reason I didn't think to put in there. I kind of just saw this as this is kind of just an easy set. There's no pressure, stock colors, 150 MOQ. It doesn't matter if it fails miserably. It's not going to screw me. Just something that I personally just wanted to see. But it got way more interest than I thought it would. Yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, the novelties are pretty. I might have to get them just for the left 1, left 2, right 1, right 2. Like, like those alone, I'm like, that's okay. I see what you did there.
Well, that and then
props.
the power and reset switches as well. Like those, that's awesome, and it'll make me want to actually put an LED in my in those
Yeah, that's
switches.
what a lot of people have said. They're like, this might be the first time I actually want to put an LED under my caps lock.
So the question is, are you going to buy some LEDs? You're going to get some LEDs to sell on Dixie?
Should I just include a tiny little green LED with every?
I think you should. I mean, they're cheap. LEDs are inexpensive.
It's not a bad idea.
Every time for every novelty order, they get one little green LED.
One little green LED. It's not a bad idea.
Be a nice little touch.
A little extra.
Yeah.
Just throw it in the box, though. Just like, hope you find it. It's like old school PS. I don't know if you remember your PS. It's all broken up styrofoam, and then the rest of it's just kind of thrown in there. It's just like, here's your stuff. Have fun.
Maybe I'll use that old school styrofoam that just breaks and goes everywhere.
My God.
Channel some real nostalgia with that one.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with Chewy. I was very surprised by it. I think at first when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I really like this. And then the novelties, when I saw it, I was like, all right, that's awesome. Because for me, PlayStation 1 and
just realized something.
Dreamcast were like the two things that the two game systems I had around a lot when I was younger. And so I'm like, man, this is sweet. And
yeah,
I think a lot of people were like, oh, well, why didn't you do, if it's based off of a controller and not the console, why didn't you do the colors of the legends on the controller, and I'm like, I think this is better. Like,
Well, I mean, there have been a lot of people that have been saying that are like, because it's inspired by this thing, you have to stick to it perfectly. And like, I was just inspired by the logo, which had those 4 colors on that gray background. When I saw that, I was like, those 4 colors on gray looks really good. So that's where it happened. And then when I'm trying to find a name for the set, originally I thought about naming it just GMK PSX, but I thought that was a little, I mean, that's literally Sony IP. That was literally the code name, which is what DMG did. They used the code name for the first Game Boy. But I was trying to stay away from just using literally Sony's property. So I was trying to figure something out, and I was like, nothing, no pun works. That's not just a straight up rip of their stuff. I don't know if I came up with it or if someone else said it in my little group where we just sound ideas off of each other. It was like Dual Shock, which they introduced Dual Shock at the end of the PSX's life, the PlayStation 1, and I was like, Dual Shock, Dual Shot. It has 2 shots of plastic. I was like, wow, this works on both ends. It wasn't necessarily inspired by the controller. That was just like the most perfect name that fit it. And the colors on those 4 buttons are way uglier than the logo.
yeah, they are. That's the other thing is I don't think this set would have the same pop if you did
No,
the button colors rather than
they're kind of
the
ugly.
logo.
And they would have to be custom colors if I used those 4 colors.
Well,
Like, there's
and
nothing close to those.
they're very hard color. They'd be very hard colors to match because they're so muted as well. It would come out. I feel like it would come out weird.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought the interest would be that high. Like, I thought there'd be like that core group that really wanted it, and then it would just kind of be like Olivia, Nautilus Nightmares, Holidays. I'm not getting it, which is why I didn't originally do a novelties kit, because I didn't think I could hit the MOQ for multiple kits. I was just gonna have a base kit. But then when I saw so many people talking about it, I was like, okay, now we could probably do a novelties kit.
Well, then you're able to stay in that price range, which is so crucial. I mean, you can think about, a lot of sets. Sometimes you're spending upwards of $200, and right now you're not really having to pick. You're kind of going, okay, well, I'm okay spending $200 on a keycap set. If I spend $245-ish after shipping, I can actually get 2.
Yeah.
At least base kits. And so, that's something that, and then on top of the one thing that I love that, I want to see more and more base colors because you can do a lot with the base colors. I think some people were kind of in this wave of, it's got to be custom colors because we don't want to overuse. But I'm like, while there have been a lot of things that have used, there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been used with base colors and quick turnaround time because you don't have to color match. You're just like,
second it's over, you're ready to go.
Hey, here it is. Order it. Start working on it.
Yeah, that's why it was so hard to come up with, because when you're designing a key set in that way, where you're kind of fishing a little bit, you grab 2 caps and you put them next to each other. And you're like, well, this has been done. You grab 2, this has been done. You go to 3, this has been done. So the only way that we can still get unique combinations in stock colors is you got to get up into the 4 and 5 colors. Because all the combinations of just 2 caps have basically been done. Or just the generic lighter alphas with darker mods with 1 highlight color. I mean, it's basically all been done. That looks good. Obviously, there's some that haven't been done that don't look good at all.
Yeah.
But that's why it was so hard. It's like you have to get up into the 4 and 5 amount of colors to really start getting stuff that hasn't been done yet. I just got lucky that I saw something that had that many. I would have never come to that on my own, I don't think. That wouldn't have just happened across something.
Someone said need more orange. Nebulant, check out GMK Forge. Shout out to Drifting Bunnies.
I'm anti-orange, sorry. I think a lot of people know that.
Not personally a fan of orange, but I kind of get why. We were talking about this on stream the other day when I was building the J80, and I was like, well, one of my least favorite colors in general is red, and I love red on certain things, but for the most part, I hate a lot of things that are colored like bright red, like that, like royal red. Muted red and burgundy and crimson are better because they're darker and they're like in your face. And I was like, well, my favorite color is green. And so we were talking about how like, oh, there's an interesting like perception of if you know, complementary colors are the opposites on the color wheel. So I love green, I hate red. So if you hate orange, do you like the color blue?
Oh, that's interesting. I do like blue and I hate orange.
There you go.
Especially hate them together.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Those are the two worst colors together of all time.
So the Mets and the Knicks are your least favorite.
And Auburn.
Yes, that's why I dislike them. The baseball.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to think about that with the complementary colors across the color wheel kind of thing. I think Dual Shot's great. I think it's going to do well. I think it might surpass what your initial thoughts were. I think that's already done that.
Do we have some day one numbers yet?
Let's see. I can give them to you. It's not anything crazy.
I mean, yeah,
it's about what I expected. Seeing that Olivia took the next 1 year of everyone's keycap purchases.
I was doing the math yesterday, and I've kind of updated a little bit to what the newest numbers have been. GMK Olivia is like 650 base kits away from selling more sets than the entire month of November. All of the like 15 sets combined in 4 days.
I knew it would.
Yeah, I mean everyone. It got the title of top keycap. You know,
your title, Dixie.
Yeah, your title. It got that crushing title. So actually, I want to talk to you about that we can talk about that a little bit.
It beat the set that I ran.
Yeah,
in the final.
So, but yeah,
we'll talk about it later. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, what are some numbers?
We got 30 base kits first day, so that's about on par with what I thought. It's a fifth.
That's a fifth of the way there in 1 day. So
29 days left. So, and I mean the novelties have 22, so that's a pretty good percentage.
That's
usually the
insane
percentage. And this is obviously just me. I don't have the other 3 proxies, so we may be around 50, which is actually decently high. It's around Modern Dolce and Minimal. Actually, that's about how many they had in the day one. Surprisingly. Not that really holds a ton of weight, but it's fun to
happily say I was day one Modern Dolce. That's the only set I'd ever been day one on.
Modern Dolce actually had lower day one numbers, which like day one numbers don't really mean anything. Like of all the ones I've done, every one of them, like Minimal had a very low day one, but the last day was crazy. So, but it's just I have a spreadsheet where I keep up with each week of every set I run, just because I like data and looking at it like that. It's like Olivia's day one is like what all of 8008 got in like the whole month, which 4 months ago 8008 was one of the top selling there's been.
Yeah,
and now Olivia's done it in 3 days, so it's crazy.
And those numbers will drop down because there are a lot of people saving for. I'm not going to get anything this month because I'm going in on Olivia. So when it comes out, I can't wait to buy it. I have a feeling that those numbers will take probably one of the steepest drop-offs that we'll see because people were going, I'm holding out for Olivia. I'm holding out.
Bam, I need it.
And then get it immediately. And then, because then also you kind of think of the time of the year. It's like, oh, it's Christmas. So I'm going to save this money for Christmas. And then once I spend that, I can now go worry about Christmas presents and holidays.
I think if this hobby ever becomes large, like big, large, that could be a really cool, like 30-minute TV show. Just looking at numbers. Just like, ooh, Olivia, speculate. It got 13 or 1,000 in 3 days. How's it going to go? Is the last 3 days going to be as big as the others? Or is it going to be small because everyone already bought?
Someone like a stock show, like a
It's so interesting to me.
Someone was telling Huey in our Discord, Man of Interest, he was telling him, you need to be the Mad Money of keyboard.
Yeah, like
you just need to have a set with all the bullshit everywhere.
Like before I got so busy that like I am now, I would keep track of the stats of every single set that was running myself. So every week on the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, and day one numbers, I would go searching to try to input them into my spreadsheet, just because I just love seeing that, to be able to compare and sort like day one numbers. This one had huge day one numbers, but this one ended up selling way more. It's just really interesting.
That would
But it
be an
was impossible to
interesting,
do.
like, quick video to do.
It was so
Just
hard
like,
for me to do it myself because not everyone sticks to the same schedule. Some
yeah,
people add extras at certain times and others don't. You basically have to have the vendors input it themselves,
yeah.
which is understandably a lot probably wouldn't want to give their numbers to everyone else.
I want to know how that one dude that does all the graphs, like,
Dude, that guy's
does
fast.
anything else. Like, he literally, it's like less than an hour after it gets posted, he's just like in there with the
Here it is.
graph.
Yeah, like I will post the numbers. I'll like get up, go get a drink, come back, refresh. Bam, it's already there. I'm like, how did he open the file, change the graphics, save, and post?
It's nuts, but they look great. I love looking at the numbers. Even if it's a set I don't care about, I'm like, ooh, I want to
Does he
see.
have, I've asked many places, does that guy have a website where he displays all of them?
I don't know.
Like
That's
that would be
actually-
like heaven for me if I could just like scroll through the graphs.
Well, it's also interesting because we talked about, I don't know if you watched our video yesterday at all, but we had a long discussion about all the different sets that ran, and Osiris did a lot of research in finding all the numbers and getting all that info. And it was actually kind of interesting to see it all. Like, he put it in our Google Doc, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh wow, like when you put them up against other things, it does really show interesting concepts of, like, if you sit here and go, oh, like, let's say Dual Shot sells 400 sets, it's like, that's, to me, kind of what will lead to, like, Dual Shot might be an aftermarket destroyer. Like, I could see that, because it's like, oh, I couldn't get Dual Shot because I spent all my money on Olivia.
Yeah,
And so
and
that,
2 months earlier I bought Cafe and Dracula and
yeah. And so you have these, we were talking about this yesterday, where it's like you have these sets that aren't doing very well in group buy. Literally, this is what happened to Olivia round one, is have these sets that don't really do that well in group buy. And then when they come out, people are like, well, shit, what I need this in my DMG. Like, literally, Olivia and DMG are the poster childs of, like, oh, the set didn't do well, but now if I don't have it, I'm gonna quit the hobby.
which Olivia in the time period it ran actually did do well. Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
2000, what was it?
2018.
2018.
Yeah, May.
Yeah, it was like in 2018 hitting 250 big if you weren't on mass drop. It was
there was like a celebration. It was 3 weeks in, 3 or 4. It was like 3.5 weeks in. They're like, we just hit MOQ at 250,
and people were like, holy crap!
Yeah, like, let's do this! Awesome! This is awesome! And it hit 250 in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was like that's back when people were still doing all the stock color sets.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't need to go to custom colors, so they were still all like Violet Tendencies, which it didn't turn out that great. But
I was about to say that.
it had stock colors, and everybody was pretty hyped for it, and it hit 250, which at the time seemed like crazy. But now it's like 250 is like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
What's that little blip over there? What is that thing?
Yeah,
you gotta go pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Well,
did you drink your shake this morning?
Well, and I think talking about how a set that's going to be huge on the aftermarket is another one of your sets that was run last month, Terra. Like, I think there's going to be a ton of people who didn't get Terra come the end of the cycle of the themed sets. It's like, well, Avatar. I have Mizu. You see how I avoided it?
Yeah, I know. I was listening.
He's like, hey.
I know what he's doing. He's avoiding it because he doesn't want to mess up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But they get on at the end of it and they get all the different sets, and they don't have Terra because it only, I mean, as of the last time I looked, it's only sold like 290. I'm sure it sold more than that.
Yeah.
At the end, but
one of those for me.
Yeah, I mean, so you're saying that I should wait till the end and sell them for triple?
Probably, yes. Because my thing is, there's going to be people who are completionists and they want the full set, and they You know, maybe they weren't in the hobby. Maybe they didn't get it because they bought 4 sets in October.
I'm excited to see the ultimate mech market post where someone
All
has
four.
all 4 sealed. And they're like,
What if I just kept a few of each one and sold like
15
a pack?
I think you could do that. I think that would be
You
a
need to do like a
legitimate
collector's edition, like get a
collector's edition, get
like
a
a
super
box, like a
awesome
nice box. Be
And
sick.
where's Rensuya? Need to hit him up.
$2,000.
Exactly. People would pay for it.
If you got
Right.
Avatar to
To sign the box.
to like commit to
Who?
doing the box.
Listen, all the people in Avatar, all the voice acting, those were all done by people that us. So we could make that happen.
We'll
Like,
just
the
get to the third
studio
one.
that did that is literally 10 to 15 minutes away from it.
Just get to the third one and be like, nah, we're not going to finish.
Yeah, we're not. Who cares about the air temple?
We'll just run Mizu again. Fire Mizu.
Fire Mizu.
Air Mizu.
GMK starter kit. See, that would be an interesting. I'm waiting. You know, we got Vile Blue. It'd be cool to get like Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle sets. Like I know Hydro was already kind of Squirtle, but where's our?
I feel like the idea of license set is really cool, but for some reason it seems less cool because it seems more corporate.
Yeah.
Maybe is the word.
It's normie.
Like it seems like there's no work.
Mhm.
I just took their art.
I took something
their
someone
color,
else already made. Yeah.
and just pasted it on a cap that I don't make either. I didn't make the profile. I didn't physically make it.
I hit copy paste and sent
Yeah,
it to
it's like-
GMK, and it was like,
I feel like there's not a sense of pride in it when you're just like, that guy made this, that guy made this. I went.
What would be cool though is
I made
if
this.
there was someone like at Nintendo that was just like,
let's do this.
let's do this.
My
That would be
DMs
cool.
are open.
That would be cool if they were like, yeah, I work for Nintendo. I work
Listen.
for these other
Nintendo.
these other
If you're
companies.
listening, my wife is literally sitting in the other room on Shield. Like, come on, support. GMK Gyarados 2020.
I was like, that's my Hydro. Like Hydro looks good even if you don't like. If you don't care that it has anything to do with Pokemon,
Mhm.
it just looks amazing, and
Well,
but it
you
doesn't have
can-
like Pokemon plastered all over it.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is you can like with Terra, like I didn't get the like
Yeah.
mainly because there's only a few that I really liked. I liked the colorway.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be this like, oh my god, you must be a huge weeb Avatar fan, and it's like, no, I just really like the color green.
Yeah, I don't ever use novelties ever on like any set. I feel like it ruins the flow unless they're text novelties because it doesn't. It falls
Yeah.
perfectly in line with what you're used to seeing. But when you got like this giant, huge, like the entire top of the cap is completely filled with something, it's just like this big blob that just stands out. Like you took a big Sharpie and just like it feels weird to me.
I think if it's done right, then it's great. I think the best novelty designer out there is King Misty. Because he did camping.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Those are some awesome novelties. Because
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are
outliers, yes, but
there's not a black and white thing, but for the most part, I don't
Yeah.
use them personally.
I don't either. Personally, for me, I won't buy a set if I feel like in order to like it and in order to use it, I have to buy a child kit.
Mhm.
So like if I don't like
If it's
the
not
base
strong
kit,
enough on its own.
right. Right, because if
I
I don't like
agree.
the base enough, then I'm like, why? Like, I don't know. It's just something for me personally. Of like, I shouldn't feel like I have to spend, that much extra in order to like it.
I agree,
Yeah.
except for space bars. That's me, though.
Yeah, but I don't.
I like
care about
having
space
I
bars.
like having the accent space bar.
Yeah, I don't buy those either. Like now, I have 9009 here right now with accents, just beige.
Just beige on beige.
Yeah, and that one comes with accents.
The only space bars kit that I've ever purchased is 8008.
That was no bias at all, actually. But that's one that, for some reason, actually seems to work to me for me when there's an accent. I don't know why it is. I don't know if it's because the accent is so subtle otherwise, and then you can just have a nice solid accent perfectly at the bottom. I don't really know.
See, to me, I think
probably won't use
an accent space bar kind of pulls the whole thing together. So, like, I think modern Dolch is like the perfect example where it's like, if you cover this up, it's just kind of like, it's cool. You got a touch of blue, but this, it's like, oh, you went with the whole theme of like, it's blue. It kind of pulls everything together.
Yeah.
Like, camping is another one to me where with the white space bar, it doesn't seem like that red is there enough to really show off the fact that it's a complementary color.
Yeah.
But with it there, it's like, oh, I get what you're doing with the colors now. So
I guess I'm just a guy stuck in my ways where I'm like, yeah, I like the idea of that. I'm not going to do it, but it's a good idea.
Yeah. Other people like it.
I would never. Yeah.
I never do it myself, but I gave sure, why not? Here you go. Have some fun.
It's like, I hate you, but I respect you. No,
it's like people who eat broccoli. I'm like, I don't get it, but sure, enjoy what you just like what you like. I guess.
Jeff Leopard says that DMG needs the accents. I think it does. I think DMG does need the accents, but that was a kit. I don't know. DMG is such a weird set because it did so poorly initially. White on black needs
White on black.
What's up, Nathan?
What accent kit? Yours? Your accent kit?
Oh man. Yeah, when are we gonna get dark Mr. Sleeves?
Dark Mr. Sleeves. That's not even it's just a bunch of black keycaps and the enter key just says that. You're like, this I guess.
Mr. Sleeves dark mode.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry, Mr. Sleeves plus.
What about Mr. Sleeves light?
Even lighter?
Ooh. Even lighter,
Yeah,
Mr. Sleeves. Lighter. I think, everyone loves the pink and blue. That's great. It's awesome. Cool. Sorry you missed out on it. I saw the potential of it being awesome, and that is one thing that I bought that I'm like, heck yeah. It almost didn't even hit MOQ. You guys are lame because I saw this as great potential. I think the next Mr. Sleeves should be his orange and yellow hoodie.
See, I'm going to give a hot take right here.
Go for it. Mr. Sleeves sucks because you don't like accents.
I love Nathan. I'm a sponsor of Nathan as well, but I don't like Mr. Sleeves. It's orange and blue. Kind of.
It's pink and blue.
Listen, Nathan. It's a pinkish hue. It's an orangish hue of pink.
Listen, so Nathan, I didn't say what the fuck is a Teja, all right? If you're going to quote me correctly. I said the fuck is a Teja.
It's something
come
like
at me, get your facts straight, all right, Nathan.
It's too deeply ingrained in me that I even if I secretly like the way something orange and blue looks, something else in me won't allow me to like it. It's like, stop. What are you thinking?
It's your brain going, Roll Tide.
Yeah, it's like it's probably like a mental issue.
Ooh, Axot, Axot's about to get banned just for saying that word.
If you somebody should try to say that in my Discord.
Just like
attempt it.
Get stripped of all your roles.
No, it's actually pretty funny.
Anyway, Nathan, Mechs on Deck versus Teja Types War 2020. I'm coming after you, bud.
War? What does that involve?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll go to war over Nathan with Nathan Kim. See, Janky Render's on board. He wants to see it.
I don't even know what kind of war.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what kind of war either. And
they're actually going to be playing the card game War.
Yeah, exactly. We'll play at War, and we'll play best of 9009.
We should. Bantership is correct.
We could have a CS Mechs on Deck channel members versus Teja Types channel members. Oh
this
man,
is like Deep South versus West Coast, bud.
Who down? I'll just cheat and get some
Oh man, Ostex. Oh man, I don't want to use my mod powers, bud.
We don't want to get me started on this. Everybody will stop watching this stream.
man.
Anyway, moving. So I got a couple questions I wrote down here that we didn't get to. Bantership asks, "What do you think keep trends in 2020 will be?" I think I've been saying this forever. 2020 is the year of reruns. We're going to see lots of round twos.
It's got to happen eventually.
I think Olivia is the tipping point of. I know it's 2019, but I think Olivia is the tipping point of seeing really hype sets go in round two. I think Modern Dolch might get a round two. Taro's already getting a round two. I think we'll see sets kind of like maybe Serica might get a round two, Nautilus round two. A lot of these older sets that there just weren't that many that now they know, oh, I could probably sell 2,000 of these key sets if I run it in the right month. Metaverse round two. Like there's so many round twos that are going to, can be made. That's why I think, Burgundy round three.
So at what point do we get to where there's so many sets that so many people want that it's just nonstop reruns?
2022.
So it's like, 2020, we're going to run 2018's second rounds. So does that mean 2021, we're going to run this year's reruns? So then that means that 2022, we're going to run 2020's round threes. And then eventually there's no room for anything new.
Well, I think there, I mean, what is good there, or the thought there though, is that like in 2018 or 2019, the big sets were Dracula, Mizu. I think Netflix said that he didn't want to see Metropolis go do a round. I think he said, I don't want to do a round two. But
that was a big one.
Yeah, it was a big one. But Bento and 8008. I don't know if you want to do it. I think
there were 10 sets that hit 1,000.
Yeah,
this year, maybe over.
And I think if you weed out like up down to whittle them down to like 5, I think you can get like, oh, those 5 will.
Yeah. I mean, I think unless the designer themselves doesn't want to, there's no reason not to, because a lot of people come in. The heck is wrong?
All right, Lumina round 2 win.
Kappa.
Oh man, I'm sorry. We need hot takes. Hot takes? I don't know, dude.
Need hot takes?
I gave one already.
Is there I mean, okay, so next year for me, I think with keycap trends, I think we're gonna see more cat sets. We've already seen the interest checks roll in. We've got some sets that might move from other types of sets to cat. We've already seen that with Oasis. There's talk of maybe Aqua Goddess going from EPBT to cat. I think cat is going to be the big thing next year, and whether or not it survives,
will it ever deliver? We don't know.
That's the thing, is when the ones that are running right now or just ran, when those deliver, how those go over is going to be what determines whether or not cat will survive.
See, that would be another interesting topic on our show that we were talking about, our stat show, is how, if cat goes down horribly, how many sets and orders will it take down with it? How many group buys of cat are going to have started before we know that it can be done? Like, think about if cat just fails. They're like, we can't do it. We don't have the manpower. We're failing. They're like, well, we have 10 group buys sitting here. What the heck do you do?
Well, and like, what if it gets to the point like what SA is right now? Like SA Sunday Morning is running this month. Planned delivery date is Q4 2020. That's a year from now. What if SA or what if cat gets to the point SA is, where it's a year in terms of...
I wouldn't be surprised, because I'm pretty sure Cat Alpha, which is the only set to ever exist, which is just black on white, took like 8 months. And it had nowhere close to the amount of kits that Milkshake sold.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was a very standard, normal MOQ amount, and Milkshake destroyed that. So if that took 8 months with just 2 colors, just black on white, how long is all of those colors on like 10 times the amount going to take? Like, hopefully it works out. Like, I'm not trying to doom it. I'm just saying that's why I haven't run a cat set yet. Because I'm terrified.
Real quick, Secret Texi, will GMK compensate for the increase of the rising amount of GMK? They already have. They bought another machine.
Yeah, like they're in the process of
they're trying to increase their workload by like 33%.
Yeah, right now they currently have 3 shifts, which means I'm pretty sure every hour of every day someone is running that machine. So they have a night shift and then they get off, morning shift comes in. At this point, they have a new machine, so they'll have 4 instead of 3, I think. And then that will have 24 hours. So that's a lot of extra production.
Mm-hmm.
But I assume it's not easy to set up a double shot machine.
Yeah.
So it's not like you
Probably
just buy it, plug it in.
Yeah.
We're ready.
All right, on. You just type
Is it
in
connected to the
GMK,
Wi-Fi?
But it's
GMK Olivia.
what do you
enter.
mean? It's just plastic, dude. It's just plastic.
It's just plastic. 1 week.
It's not showing up in my printers.
One week turnaround for GMK. Good lord.
That would be insane.
I don't think we'll ever.
That would suck.
I was about to say,
I
I
need
feel
some time
like
to prepare.
Yeah. So I've got 900,000 boxes sitting in
My box order hasn't even showed up.
yeah.
So I've got some other questions written here. Venon, will you dress up as a PlayStation controller?
Interesting. No.
No, there it is. All right, you heard it here first. Janky Render, what program do you use for color combinations? I imagine you were just using the
Just
GMK.
designing in general.
Well, I think he meant for like color matching GMK.
Oh, well, this particular dual shot, I had the physical caps. Like,
Yeah, you got the ring of the GMK colors.
I have them on this plank,
Ah.
so that it's kind of easier to look at. But here's the remnants of my research. These are the 5 colors. But I literally just take them off, hold them up. But for custom colors, I use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. And I use Fusion to look at them in a real render. So those are my 2 go-tos.
If Dual Shot hits 1K, will you paint a PS1?
On me. I can't paint. I guess I could paint one on my hand. A little.
Do it left-handed.
I think everyone wants something to happen now when a set hits 1K.
What have I done? Have I set this like?
What is it? Someone Langalandia had to do something like take a picture of him in a bath of coffee beans.
Well, Dixie started it with the bra.
Yeah, the bra. So
I accidentally start things all the time, and then people hold them to me. I'm like, I just tried to do that one time to make it fun.
Oh man, how are you doing? X, I can't say your name. Existentially yours. There you go. Got there.
Oh, I saw. I shared an Instagram post of theirs today with the floral mat.
Urban the 2 or Urban the L. Do you think we will get away from group buy to an in-stock thing? I think that is coming, but I think that personally, I think the sets that are going to be in stock are going to be sets like Minimal or White on Black, or sets that are very like not. No one can really claim them, especially like something like White on Black. No one's, oh, I'm the designer of White on Black. It's like, okay, you picked white alphas and black mod, and you did, or not alphas and mods, but you picked white legends and black keycaps. Like, that's not designing. You just picked 2 colors and said,
I think Dell did that.
Yeah. So like I would see, and we're already seeing like White on Black on like drop a lot. So I think that those sets will, but I don't imagine these custom will ever. I don't think, especially custom colors, I don't think we'll ever see.
I don't personally, from a business standpoint, I don't think it should, even if we could. Because you're kind of predicting how many you think you'll sell. So if I decided that dual shot instead of a group buy, I just wanted to buy it and just be like, hey, it's in stock, I would have to be like, I wonder how many I'll sell. So do I buy 150 and I pay the highest price they have, and then end up realizing, oh, 1,000 people wanted this? I could have just run a group buy, sold 1,000 and gotten 1,000 piece price. But I decided to buy 150, and now I'm gonna have to buy 150 again. Or you do the opposite, where you're like, this set's gonna sell 1,000, and like nobody wants it. So it's like group buy, because we're in a community that has no problem with it. Why would you go away from it? Like I can see in a community where they're used to having in stock stuff and you just changed to a 5-month pre-order, they would like there'd be riots. But that's just what we're used to. And no one's ever, I guess, never affected anyone. So like 8008, I would have never thought it would sell as many. So I would have never bought that many. So it's kind of like it's a guessing game when you don't actually need to guess.
Well, that's like, could you imagine if they only sold, like, let's say Novelties was like, I'm only buying 500 kits of Olivia.
Yeah.
Like that would, everyone would, even if he did 1,500, people would still be upset because
it's like, why would you do that?
Because those 1,500 sets would get bought in 5 minutes.
So yeah, it's like
because FOMO.
We have the luxury of people being used to this system, so we can use it and it not hurt anything.
And I think if you do go to that system, you open up the door for the possibility of like, okay, yeah, your GMK set typically runs $130. Well, I'm only going to get 250 of these. I'm going to sell it for $250.
Yeah.
Like you play the card of there's only this many.
Yep.
This is what you have to pay in order to get it. And also Pluto, his mic is not cutting. Discord just sucks.
Yeah, Discord's rough.
And the difference is if a vendor decides to just buy out, like Originative, which is kind of their model, they'll buy out however many, 150, 250, and they'll sell it for 180 to 200 because it's in stock, but they're the ones who had to put all of that money up and sit for 3 months and wait on it. So that money that they had to sit with no return for 3 months, which is why they charge a higher price. When you do a group buy, everyone helps each other buy it to where it doesn't hurt the vendor having to sit there and wait, so you can continue to move on to another project. If I bought a stock, I'd be like, sorry, I got to sit here and wait till it delivers. I can't run anything else because I have no money.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is, like you said, if you are wrong on your assumption of how many you should buy, you're leaving revenue on the table. If you overbuy, now your investment is way too high, and then maybe you're taking less profit, or you're selling sets at a loss to try to get rid of them because you don't have a ton of warehouse space to keep 1,000 GMK sets.
Zero warehouse space. I mean, that's what every industry in the world has to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know if you watch Shark Tank, but they'll be like, where did that $100,000 go? And they're like, we bought all this inventory and now no one will buy it. It's like, no, there's not many markets that have the luxury that we have to be able to do pre-orders on everything.
Yeah. So, who was that? You got that one. Keyhive, thoughts on the minivan news today? I actually didn't know any of the minivan news. Can you post a link to that? Or either of you know?
I do not.
Yes, I know.
What is
just froze?
I don't have a link though, so I feel like you should read it if we're going to talk about it. It's a very short read. So basically, here it is.
Oh, the key company bought minivan. All right.
Okay.
Well,
yes.
All right.
Well, that's cool. I mean, neat.
Okay.
I mean, if it gets more boards out there, then awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it is very interesting if it is how it seems. So, like, the title says the key company acquires minivan, which makes you think that he bought the rights to the minivan. But when you read it, it just seems like the key company has just taken over manufacturing for him. So I didn't really know if they actually acquired it or if they're just taking on the load of all the work because he can't.
That's true.
But if they did acquire it, that is something very interesting because I don't know if we've ever had a company acquire something like that before. I don't know what it means. I mean, but it is very interesting.
Yeah. I'm reading it right now because it's the first time I'm seeing it, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So it's the title is the key company acquires minivan, and then the first sentence is, with the blessings of Evan, the founder of the van keyboards, key company will be offering minivan kits in 2020.
It confused me too. I was like, you don't need a blessing if you own it.
Yeah, 10 Strong's right. I sort of read it as they took over the design. Yeah, it
that's
sounds like
what I thought.
It sounds like they bought the design rights to the minivan
Which
itself.
Which is still also interesting.
Yeah. I think from what it seems, it's like the van keyboards is still going to operate as its own
Yeah.
entity.
Mhm.
Which was it's more interesting because I'm pretty sure Evan closed the van keyboards a few months ago,
Yeah.
which I guess kind of made it more confusing because when you read it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. The van keyboard shut down, so now someone else is going to buy it and keep it going. But
I think
I don't know. I don't.
this also makes sense in case he's like, I want to get back into it. I want to do things again. He now has the
I
ability.
can do that without all the back end work.
Right. He still
Well, to
owns
me,
the rights to the name the van keyboards because if you purchase it, then you lose that ability to come back as the van keyboards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of is like whenever the designer of the Alice released the Alice, he was like, I'm not keeping this to myself anymore. Like, it's kind of like, I don't want to hold, because it's kind of selfless in the fact that it's like, I don't want, if people want a minivan, I don't want to be the one that's stopping them from getting a minivan. But I can't do it, so I might as well let someone else do it.
Yeah.
And they can
Like
take care
it either
of it.
dies with me
Yeah.
or the key company can attempt to keep it going.
Yeah.
Which at this point, we don't know how it'll work because it literally just happened. Whether it was a good idea or not, we don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll see.
We will watch. What is it from Star Wars? We'll watch your career with great interest.
I mean, I'm not a big minivan fan, so.
Me either.
All right.
I'd buy one. I'd buy one for because I do want eventually 140% board. Just to be like,
I have a Pearl.
40%. Yeah, see?
I have a Pearl. I have a TMO 50. It's good enough for me.
Who said it? I think it was Mr. Petrov. Where is it? Something about the designer of the PS1 reached or said he was going to buy a keycap set from you.
I don't think it was that awesome.
Oh,
it was one of the lead product designers who currently works for PlayStation commented on the Instagram and said that he bought it immediately and was like, "This is the coolest thing ever," or something. I love this set. I can't remember what he said, but yeah, that was really cool to see this. That somebody who works for PlayStation and is in a design position liked it. So that was pretty cool validation.
He's gonna buy that, and you're gonna get a lot of emails in 5 months. That's like, where can I get this? Where can I get this? We're gonna get this. It's gonna be people that he works with.
That's true. Maybe I should buy a lot of extras.
Yeah, maybe
just be like, buy it buy 40 just for him, so you can be like, listen.
Yeah, send a little note in his set. You're like, hey,
prepared specifically for the amount of jealousness that you're
like, bro, can you secretly give me the original Pantone / Raw of the original plastic? Because none of them exist now that haven't changed colors. They've all yellowed. So no one actually knows what the color was supposed to look like. You're like, bro, go into them archives and tell me so that I can see how close it is.
Oh man. Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. It'd be cool for it to pick up steam and Dual Shot's the reason why all of a sudden a whole bunch of people that work at Sony get into mechanical keyboards.
Be like, hey Sony, if y'all want to design your first keyboard,
hit me up. I got you, fam.
Hit me up.
Before we transition into our next question, I just want to get this out here for those watching. We are I'm going to leave this open for probably another few days, but we did a Google Doc, a form that if you don't mind filling out, maybe while you're listening, it is just in a little couple questions we wanted to ask the community about our stream and how we are moving forward. We got some cool stuff planned for next year and wanted your feedback. So if you guys check that out, that'd be awesome. Mech Madness 2020 is coming up.
Yeah.
You excited? You excited to ruin Mech Market for a few months?
I am excited, but it's a ton of work. And I feel like this year is going to be even more. Just because you're expected to improve on the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing a lot more now than I was last March. Which I have a couple people helping me that we've already started compiling a list of everything. That kind of thing. Because last year, I had the idea probably the second week of February. and launched it on March. So like the birth of the idea was not even through the start. So like I just like had the idea, immediately started making the website. I sat there and made the whole website in like 1 day. And then it just happened. But it's like there were obviously some kinks because that's how it happened. So yeah, I have a couple people helping me just gathering the amount of sets that exist now is a huge task. And boards are a little harder to find. And then have the links to them, figure out what we're going to do for the pictures, which was a big, I don't know if it was a controversy, but that was a big thing of conversation is who chooses these pictures because they kind of have a big play on the outcome of a set possibly. Which I just picked one because I was the only one doing it. So I mean, I've had the idea this year to allow to submit the photo that they want, with obviously within some constraints. If your set looked nothing like a render, don't send me a render. But like, I think that would be the fairest way to do it is if I open some forum where all the designers can give me the picture they want to be used. And then if you don't submit, then we'll choose. And then I'll have a small panel of people to where it's not just me. Like there's obviously more minds going into it to help it be a little more fair. But yeah, it's gonna be big. I think we might do desk mats this year.
That'd be cool.
Add a separate bracket for desk mats. Yeah, because almost every set has at least one.
I thought you were gonna say make a.
Oh no!
That
like
is
a bracket.
That is
to
the
vote.
bracket.
Like a bracket to vote on the best desk mat of the year, just like he says.
I still
That
think
would
you
be
should
pretty
make
cool,
a desk mat though, where you have the full bracket.
That would be
Full
cool.
bracket. That would actually be sick, especially if it was done.
If you did it
At the
after
end?
the fact,
If
yeah,
you
you
do
do
it
it
after
after
the
that. Well,
fact.
you could do one with. I mean, I know that's a lot.
Well, you could do
'Cause you
one
could do one
before and then you
Before
could
that
do one
has the
after.
things, and then people can write in what they think, or you could do one after that shows
would be
the
pretty
whole
cool.
thing. So
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'll hit you up on that in like 3 months and be like, hey, you should do this.
Yeah, I think this year, like last year, I was struggling. Like you have to have. I don't know if people know how brackets work, but you have to have a multiple of. I don't know the math.
4.
Yeah, of 8. Like it's 32, 64, 128. So if you have over 64, you have to go to 128 for it to work.
Or you have to cut.
Or you have to go to 32. So you either have to cut 30 or add 60. It's like, so I think we have almost 90 sets this year.
God.
So I think we're going to have to like either drop some that we're just like, we know that this isn't going to win. Sorry. But like,
Too bad, so sad.
And we'll probably have to have some that you have to play in. So you have to win a round to get into the big tournament. That's how like March Madness does it. There'll be 4 games before the tournament starts for 4 spots for 8 teams to play for. So that might be how we have to do it.
Yeah, someone said round robin too, where you could just go, hey, here's 20 sets, only 8 can do it. You vote, and then the top 8.
Oh, the top 8. Yeah, that's probably a faster way.
Like the Olympics does. Like beats.
You do. Here's
just to
20,
fill in.
Whatever. You rank them, and whatever has the highest ranking of those top 8.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a huge handful that's obviously going to get in, but then there's the smaller ones. When you get down to the end, you're like, which ones?
Like every set from Dixie's going to get in easy. So.
I mean, you did have what 3 months in a row of sets hitting over
bangers.
1,000.
I did.
Yeah.
I've actually hit 1,000 until Terra. I hit 1,000 on every GMK set, not Bliss.
But
Bliss got like 700.
But Bliss set a different record in it on its own.
Yeah, I think it did. Which I mean, I don't think Magic City is guaranteed to get into March Madness. Mech Madness, sorry.
Magic Madness.
Like it only sold 75 kits. 90% of the world doesn't even know it exists.
I'm sure there's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people right now. They're like, "What's Magic City?"
Yeah, it's like that one's easily probably going to be cut because it did like. I know there'll be a lot of people who'll be mad that my set didn't get in, but it's like there's some that you just have to just say we know this isn't do anything.
Tough, sorry.
And you might have to cut some round 2s.
Yeah,
because like Hyperfuse round 8, I mean, that
Well,
shouldn't
that,
take
it's
the
like-
spot of one that
like to me personally, I wouldn't include Olivia too.
that's going to be hard. Yeah.
Because to
the
me, there's-
problem is if you don't include Olivia round 2, you'll get so much backlash. I think if you do it, you have to do only dark kit.
Yeah.
That is the reason why it will probably be in, because it did change up.
Yeah.
It is a new thing. And like it's such a high profile set and the winner from last year that we would be like destroyed if it wasn't in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if it wins a second time, I mean, we might just rename the competition.
But who could beat GMK?
Then no, what you do then is just Olivia gets a bye throughout the entire round, the
All the way to
entire
the
tournament
championship.
until
Yeah.
the championship. It's who can beat Olivia.
Yeah.
My question
the
is,
boss.
are you going to do any of the sets that ran last month that haven't hit yet? Is there?
Oh, that I do have a small like requirement list. Your group buy has to end in the year of the tournament that you're running.
Ooh, was it Ursa?
Yeah. Ursa.
So like,
Ooh, too bad Ursa.
so it has to, like, the group buy has to close before December 31st, 2019, and it has to have been pushed through to production.
Mhm.
If it fails and it gets canceled, you're not in. So like last year, DMG wasn't in it because they extended to like January 7th. So it wasn't over. So DMG will be in this year, which is another weird thing. DMG round 1 and 2 will both be in
be.
2019. So I'm pretty
so
sure they're
strange.
pretty much the same kit. So we'll
They
just
are,
pick one of
yeah.
those. But yeah, so like if a kit this year ends January 2nd, it's going to be next year.
I mean, Nine's had 2 runs as well
Yeah.
in 2019.
That's true. Yeah, nine's too.
Nine's too.
So like that's that's why I ended Dual Shot on December 31st. So that I could
So you can put it in there.
include it. Yeah.
So you're not breaking your own rules.
And obviously it has to succeed. If it doesn't hit MOQ, if the vendor buys it out, it's still going to be produced.
Mhm.
But that's kind of just the few requirements, is that it has to succeed and end in the year.
Well, I'm very excited to see, because I really did enjoy watching everything go through. I remember being really upset because there was some board that had to go up against like the Alice in round 2. It was like the TX60 went up against the Alice in round 2. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's come into question is
Yeah, it's like, how
we
do you
the
rank
seeds.
it? Yeah.
Last year, I literally hit the random button because I was like, I'm not going to choose.
What if you ranked them based on
Numbers sold.
numbers
That's
sales
what people have
for,
said. So
for
key sets, do we rank them on the number of sets sold? Which that could probably happen with key sets. That's a ton of more research on 95 sets.
Yeah.
But that could be a thing where like the powerhouses, Olivia and Dracula and Oblivion, are all top seeds.
Mhm.
Which my original idea before I showed anyone was I was going to do the divisions like March Madness does, where there's 4 sections,
Mhm.
which I guess is what you'd have to do if you did actual seeds.
Yeah.
But it's like 1 through 16 in 4 sections. And I was like, I was going to do each one was a different profile. So, because at the time there was way more GMK last year, like other sets. So there was an SA division, an XDA or all the others,
Yeah.
and then a
randos.
GMK. But then I was like, the reason I didn't do it is because it almost like guarantees that an XDA is going to be going for the championship, which probably doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, that
is why I
GMK
didn't do
set
it.
that lost in the Elite 8 is upset.
Yeah, so
Well, that's
why I
like-
didn't do it that way.
Well, like Camping lost in like the 3rd round to Modern Dolch. And I was like,
There were
tough.
I was very happy with. I didn't know how it was going to work out. Like I didn't know how the voting was going to go. I didn't know if it was just going to be stupid landslides the whole time, and it was just a predictable thing in the world. Like I was scared everybody was just going to get everyone right. But there were some like crazy upsets in the thing last year. Like fun thing that I remembered earlier. I actually I was going to be the number 1 in key sets. I would have won my own competition but I chose Modern Dolch over Olivia just to like as a self, like I'm picking my set. I think it can win. If I would have picked Olivia, I would have been the number one in the tournament by like a landslide. And I was like, I don't know how that would have looked if I won my own tournament. Obviously, it wasn't rigged because I didn't do the voting, but I ended up like 85th place because I picked Modern Dolch.
Big Bucknut says, have a small group of vendors, content creators, seed them.
Yeah.
That would be cool, but the only problem there is that's how you piss off a lot of people.
Yeah,
Because
I think
if any
you have to have
decision
data.
any decision you come to is going. I mean, not to talk about politics, but look at politics. Half the people are going to hate any decision you.
It's easiest if the decision is made based on a stat that no one made up. That is a fact that Dracula sold this many.
Yep.
I didn't do it. It's just what happened. It's number one. Oblivion sold 4,000. It's number one.
If you want to ruin the rankings, go buy 3,000 sets of Dual Shot.
Yeah, it's like that's probably the best way to do it if we have the time to find the numbers. But it's like obviously all this is volunteer work.
Yeah.
So it's as good as the people that
put the
like to help and
The hard one there is boards. How do you rank boards?
Boards might have to be random.
That's just I was about to say that.
I mean, random wasn't a big deal last year.
Well, you could do it by layout.
Like
you could do
like what I just said.
60%, 65%, 75% TKL and above.
That's not a bad idea.
Or I would say maybe throw 60 and 65. Well, there's too many.
That could be fun. I mean,
because I think that's where you do it like that.
I think you do 60, maybe 60, 65, 65 and 75 others like randoms, and then TKLs by themselves. So you do like
TKLs and 60s are going to be the most, and then 65, 75, and everything else. Yeah, I think that's
it's hard to do because if you had like 40s, 65, 60, 75, and TKL, it's guaranteeing that a 40s board is going to make the top 4.
That's what I'm saying. You do like 40s, you might also mix in like 1800s in there as well.
Yeah.
Like you put all the like random layouts that only run like maybe 3 or 4 boards a year that aren't justified enough.
2% milk. Yeah, we're going to do the macro pad section.
The ISO one.
We actually have in our table, like we have a big spreadsheet of all the boards, and we have a few of them like in key sets, we have them labeled like Korean beige. It's not a full set.
Yeah.
So we have those highlighted to where they're obviously the first ones out, unfortunately, just because it's hard to judge a Korean alpha set versus, I mean, it's hard to do.
Well, it's like it was not Pretty in Pink, or was it Pretty in Pink? The accent, like Mr. Sleeve shouldn't win because it's an accent set. It doesn't.
I got some flack last year from the Rama M6 being
I was about to say the M6 made it kind of far too.
Well, that was basically I couldn't find enough boards.
Yeah.
I got to the end and I just had to kind of throw in like TX, I think, had a round where they reversed themselves. And one of the TX was like, which TX made it weird because they made the same design in 3 different form factors.
Yep.
So it's like, do I put all 3 of them when they look exactly the same? But I just bunched them together. Like that is the one design, and you could get it in 3 different.
Yeah, I mean the difference between a 60 and 65% TX.
Yeah, it was weird.
This and the USB port gets moved over.
And like, what is it? The bent steel one.
Yeah,
they're all exactly the same design. You can just get them in slightly different form factors. So that decisions like that are weird, and I am glad that I will have people to sound off ideas, and I'm not just sitting there having to make the decision all by myself.
You have a committee.
I'm still, I would right now. I only have like a couple people, which the closer it gets, I'm probably going to get some more knowledgeable, high-profile people in there, possibly y'all, just to get an overall census of what y'all think. Because if you get a group of people, they can probably represent what the community is going to want overall if you get the right people. I just want it to be legit. I mean, it was fun and.
Well, it's also like, I mean, not that it's like some people don't care, but it is cool to, you're able to give like
recognition to people who
you can go like, oh, you know, I designed a Final Four
Yeah.
key set. Like that's
I
a
mean, I
cool
think
thing to
it's
be able
yeah.
to say.
I see in the future like that people can literally say like on round 3 of some set they could be like like Olivia round 3 might be able to say 2 consecutive years Mech Madness key set of the year.
two-time
Like,
Mech Time
You
and
need
it's
to
like
make
on the
like
box.
a digital trophy, like a little.
Like I gave her a physical trophy.
Well,
the
I know,
winners
I
have
know.
an actual trophy. But like, yeah, if there was like a seal that was like
Yeah.
2-time winner, like I think that would be cool. Like there's stuff like that in all kinds of other things, like movies, Academy Award winning actor.
Yeah.
So why couldn't it be key set of the year, Olivia?
Well, and people like ranking stuff too. Like
It's just fun as crap.
We're talking about we've been talking about doing top of the year of whatever.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh yeah, you should do this, you do this and do this. And we were talking about key sets and like just going through and ranking them and seeing what are and I love them. I think I've watched it at least 3 times. One of my most watched Man of Interest videos is when he went through, here are the top 5 of I think, because it's cool to see different people's opinions on what they think's the top versus another.
Yeah. And when we did Keep Town, RIP, I threw out the idea, like we did a kind of a news show like Top Clack does. But I wanted to do the idea where each product that we covered, all 3 of us hosts would give our rank. We would average it together, and that would be the Keep Town rank. Where we could have a spreadsheet that was like, this is the rank that Keep Town gave it. On average, all 3 people who have completely different tastes, it averaged out to a 6.
Looks like
They didn't want to do it.
Jay is doing something similar with his J score.
The J score.
It's like the Doug score from the Doug DeMiro videos.
Yeah, and it's like Top Gear. They have the leaderboards for all the celebrity. It's just fun. It means nothing.
Yeah,
but
because at the end of the day, you can just go, I don't care about this, and click.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a movie award shows. A lot of people don't give a crap about the Academy Awards. But then a lot of people just love movies and they like to see the people they like to be recognized. So it's basically the same thing. Everyone loves TGR boards, so it was great to get to see Sam recognized for his good work. I mean, whether he cares or not, but why not?
Neat.
So,
if you guys have other questions as well, be sure to add us in the comments. If you have questions for us or Dixie,
it's called a chat.
Chat. There we go.
Chat. Yeah.
Chat.
Subscribe
comments.
down. Oh, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
The
comment section. Yeah, you can
subscribe. Am I pointing the right way?
You're pointing the wrong direction.
There it is. Boom. Waiting up there. So be sure to subscribe. Amazon Prime.
Yeah, check it out. See if you've got a free a free Amazon Prime.
I am Mechanist.
Are you?
Thank you for the follow.
But are you Mechanist?
I don't think it is that Mechanist.
Don't forget.
Oh, so they're not Mechanists.
Any love for Artisans? That's interesting. I feel like Artisans is very hard to do a madness of Artisans. Like
I don't know anything about them. I would literally have to be like, okay, you're in charge of that.
Right, because you have sculpts that have been around for a long time that are just runs of colors to match.
Just recolor, like the Fugu. Yeah. It's just the billionth colorway.
Right. So it's like, how do you...
Which, I mean, you could say the same thing about keycaps.
True.
Same sculpt for the last 40 years. Why do we still care?
Mm-hmm.
But how would that be
weighted? I think it would be cool. I mean, obviously, if there was some person that was in love with Artisans that was like, I want to see this included, I would be like, okay, you're in charge. You do it all. Because I know nothing about Artisans. And you obviously don't want someone in charge of something that doesn't know anything about it and they ruin it for you.
I feel when a blank Artisan set wins. That what would be hilarious is if GMK B. I don't think that's finishing in time.
Well, B won't. I don't think it'll finish.
But if
Speaking
it did,
of that, it was also thrown out that we should do a bracket for Rama caps, or / the novelty
Ramas
cap that comes along, like the Salving caps, or because there's probably enough of those from every set of this year to do a 32 team bracket. but we'll see. We don't want to
Interesting.
overload it and it just get too bogged down.
There's too many, yeah.
Because I mean, it's a ton of work. Because basically, it's all manual. Like I don't have a system where this is automatic. Like last year, all I could do was pre-make all those graphics for the Instagram stories where it has the background and the 2 pictures and the name. I could make those for round 1. But it's like, I don't know who's going to win round 2. So I can't pre-make the graphic for it. So every single day I had to come home and make the graphics for the next day. Every single day for 30 days. And I also had a 2-hour commute home from work.
Oof.
And I was posting them at my job. Every hour on the hour, I had to pull my phone out and post 2 Instagram stories.
I'm sure your
So I went
job,
to the bathroom 10 times a day, every single day for a month.
your job was like,
So
what
it
the
was
hell's
very-
going on with you?
And then I quit the job at the end of the month.
This is your diet.
But like, it was a
What are you
lot of
leaving?
work.
Health reasons.
I mean, obviously, I could I had like the background pre-made where I just had to drop the picture in on it. But I mean, it's no matter how you do it, unless I'm not some genius software developer or something that can make it actually automated. If there's anyone out there that wants to do that for free, hit me up.
Big,
But
big emphasis on the free portion.
Big brain.
actually, I would probably pay money for it. I was joking.
Venom says, "Hit me up."
I'm sure there are quite a few software
Yeah, I'm
developers
sure.
within the community.
But like that would
able
be
to do
great
something.
because if you could just set it up to where it literally could
Auto.
read who won the day before and automatically drag the picture and the name, stick them into a graphic, save it into a folder for you.
That'd be
But
pretty sweet.
that was all manual. I'd be home at 1 a.m. Like, oh, frick, I forgot to make the graphics for tomorrow. I'd have to sit there. Like, I can't not do it. The next day, everybody's like, what? I would be 1 minute late because I was in. They'd be like, it's 12:04. And they're like, what's going on?
What's this?
And I'm like, well, the
Oh, yeah.
president of the company is right in front of me. Trying to post the Mech Madness post.
You're like, it's like back to high school. Like you're trying to hide the phone, like
Yeah.
beside your leg.
Totally worth it because it was fun as crap. I attribute a lot of the growth I had this year to that jump starting it.
Mhm.
A lot of people gave me crap for doing it on Instagram. But it was already a pre-made platform that had a voting system in it. Everyone could only vote once. There was no way to really rig it unless you want to make a whole new account on Instagram. So it was very pre-packaged and ready for me to use. And at the time, I had 1,000 Instagram followers. And I was like, this is a nice way for me to come
Grow.
back from my break because I had gotten married. I moved to a new city. I was on a 6-month break after Modern Dolch. Like no one had seen me since October. And then Minimal hit in March. And I was like, this is going to be the big bang to get me going again. And I think it really did.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. You're a business. There's nothing wrong with using something that you put all of the work in as a marketing opportunity.
Yeah, and I could see in the years coming, if it continues to be as fun and big as it is, that it would get its own website, its own, if we're still using Instagram, its own Instagram account to where, because I can see like at this moment, the bigger my company gets, the busier it is, the more crap that's going to be mixed in with it. That's going to make it a little too, I don't care about the key sets. I'm just here to vote on them. Or I don't care about the competition. I just want the products. So I feel like if we go with my Instagram this year, it'll probably be the last year before we need to break off and just do it all separate. Which I would love to see. Like I would love for it to be a cool thing that's almost self-sustaining. If I have people that just love being in, like I know there's people that just love statistics and they love gathering them and they like to be that part. It would just be cool to have a team of people that can make it happen and make it way better than I could by myself in my spare time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Timba 8989 asks, not sure if this has been asked, but is the current Gateron Inks loose leaf issue really a deal breaker? How bad is it really, since Gateron has stated that it's actually within spec?
Isn't the loose, if I remember correctly, isn't the loose leaf only if you take apart the switch?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it basically when you try to go lube it, the leaf just falls out.
I understand Gateron's position. They're like, this isn't meant for you to take apart.
Yeah.
Right.
We sell it to you as a complete unit. Like if you took your Chevy Corvette apart and broke it, you can't take it back to Chevy and go, it don't work anymore.
It don't work no
What
more.
the heck, bro? My vet don't work no more. I took it apart.
I broke down the shop on down there, and we just don't know
I
what
swear I know what I'm doing, but you gotta give me a refund. Fix it.
My cousin said he could take this apart in 4 minutes, and then just next thing you know, the tire's falling off. I don't understand what happened.
This ain't within spec. Jimmy Bob told me he knew how to take it apart.
Next thing you know, driving down the road, there goes one of them tires.
Like, I understand Gateron going, why the heck are you taking them apart?
Yeah, absolutely. It became a Boomhauer stream. It did.
Hey,
But I do understand. I do understand the community. Lubing is huge, and I prefer Lynx lubed as well. But they are sold as complete units, not technically meant to be just taken apart.
Yeah, I mean, the lube that we use is not technically meant to be lube for switches.
A lot of the things that we use in keyboards are not even meant for keyboards. But
hey, think about if we designed a switch that had small holes in the perfect spots,
you could just
and we invented a syringe made for that hole where you could perfectly go bloop bloop and just insert the lube perfectly into the holes in the perfect spots.
That'd be dope.
If the inks and seals get fixed, then Zycos could actually be something I wouldn't have to worry about building.
Yeah,
that's.
How about you just lube them correctly from the factory? Well, here's the thing that goes into what I just said about the fact that the lube that we use is not made for keyboards.
Yeah, what is
so
you don't.
It's expensive
there's not
as well.
There is not a finite. This is the way you lube, and if you don't lube like this, then you're wrong.
Yeah, it's like some people like it thick and heavy so that it has the squishiness. Some people just like a tiny light amount.
Some people just
taking
away the scratchiness.
Yeah, there's no right way.
How do you pick what lube? A lot of people get pissed off. They say, "Oh, we decided to use 205 grade 0 exclusively on these inks." Sure, a lot of people would be happy, but a lot of people probably be like, "Whoa, time out! I didn't want that."
I bet you most people will be pissed just because they didn't get to choose.
Exactly.
I actually love 205 grade 0, but because you picked it for me, I'm pissed.
How dare you make my decisions for me?
So Dark Sky Rob, that is, I guess you could do that. You could sell them pre-lubed and have an unlubed version. But the problem is a lot of companies don't want to have all those extra SKUs. They don't want to have 2 SKUs for every switch. That seems like a logistical nightmare from like a production standpoint.
Yep.
Yeah, people are absolutely still buying drop pandas and fixing them themselves. But the issue or the thing there is drop pandas are not having a leaf issue.
Drop pandas also the de-lubing of drop pandas is in my opinion not that big of a deal. Like you just throw them in a cleaner and then.
So is the leaf? I've never seen the leaf issue.
Okay, so it
just falls out.
It just falls out. Literally,
so so
it's just an extra step. You have to put it back in there.
Yes, but you can damage the leaf. So if it's to me, it's best described with a Zelio, where the pin can actually just push these in. Now this is something different. I'll actually grab a Zelio, but the Gateron housing, they have these 2 little plastic parts that prevent the leaf from moving. But if you take that off, instead of it just being sealed on the bottom like Holy Pandas, where you can't move it, when you take that blocker off the top, those pins, the leaf can just pop right out. But what's even worse is that the other part of the leaf, or the detached part of the leaf, that can be pushed in by itself. And all that goes straight into the leaf, and it will bend the leaf outward.
Ooh.
And immediately ruin whatever.
When you're shipping switches in a bag where they're all pushing up against each other.
Yeah.
Well,
so once again, if you have the tops on it, it doesn't matter. because it's prevented. They've thought that through where they're like, okay, well, we've prevented this from being a thing.
People would never
when
take
you-
these apart.
Yeah, exactly. If you're using a hot swap, that can be tough. God.
Yeah, where
ruined
they're
so many
not
switches.
secured. That's interesting. Hopefully they'll do something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they've said they will. I think they've said that they're.
I mean, I assume
on
Mike is involved, and he is the guy who has the pull that I think could pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Zeal is also involved, if his switches are affected, but I mean, I feel like those two people are a pretty big percentage of their
and what you said is exactly right. They've acknowledged, like, oh, okay, well, we can we'll look into this. And the thing is, with the inks and stuff like that, it's like, well, the inks are not being put on commercial brand boards.
Yeah,
the inks are being sold for the custom community, so they'll work on that. But they don't have a team. It was probably just like, hey, Jeff, go fix that if you can. If not, like,
who cares?
This is too bad.
I mean, I think about the brand loyalty. Like, Gateron's already got some good brand loyalty, but if they are the people that, like, we listen to them and fix this tiny, this issue that they technically don't even have to care about, that could go a long way, especially with this weird cherry marketing thing they got going on.
I didn't even know what's going on with cherry.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's pretty cringy. So they have this marketing campaign, #OriginalMX, where they're basically batching any cherry clone switch and calling them fakes.
So it only took 5 years for them to do that.
So it's been 2 or 3 weeks where every day they post an Instagram post basically bashing anything else and making it seem like they are the only choice. It's pretty cringy. And every post has 100 comments bashing them. Gateron is better. Like,
they're just salty that their copyright or trademark or whatever it was on the design ran out.
Yeah. I can't remember the slogan. It's pretty cringy. What is it? Often copied, never reached, or something like that.
#original MX. Wow.
But Kale posted a post today that said, like, Kale posted a photo today on Instagram, often copied, never duplicated or something. But Kale posted a picture of their silent line, and they put keeping silent in the fire. So it was like a direct shot at Cherry, but also advertising their silent switches. So I was like, this is the social marketing I want to see.
My favorite thing about this post that Nebulant put in the chat is that the second comment is Lamau scratchy ass switches.
Dude, if you read those comments, you will have a field day. Like, there are some incredible comments.
Original MX, perfect lubrication. Okay. Okay, boomer.
Like, there's some really good burns on Cherry in those comments.
That'll be some good light reading before going to bed. Oh
yeah, definitely. But going back, if Gateron does fix it because of all that stuff happening, I think they'll put themselves back where they were, if not above.
I mean, honestly, I can't think of the last time I'm going to buy cherry switches.
Yeah, I mean, I've never even cared.
I bought MX Blacks once, really for the housing. And yep.
It's like Kale, because of Mike, Kale they were on a come up last year. They were the people because the value is insane. Like, it was like 29 cents for a switch that rivaled something twice as much. And then that whole box gate happened, and now everyone is like just terrified to buy anything. Even if they shouldn't be. It's just like a subconscious thing that happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, not this is not to say cherry's bad, but when a company comes out and says we're better than everyone else, it's like, okay, calm down, all right?
Pump the brakes. Walk the walk if you're going to talk the talk.
Yeah, like there's a reason that outside of vintage blacks, maybe the occasional retool blacks. On our list of top fours, we've had, at least 20 people on the show. And I don't think anyone has said, "Oh, MX Blues, MX Browns, MX Reds." No, none of. They're all saying some either Gateron Inks or cream.
There's probably some vintage blacks.
Yeah, and vintage blacks is definitely on there. But yeah,
new old stock blacks.
Yeah. I think Cherry fell into the thing that a lot of companies fall into, where you get so big, you are the market leader for 2-3 decades. No one can come close to competing with you, so you don't even have to try to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to innovate. You can just keep doing the same thing you've always done, and you will always be the best. Eventually, it's not going to work anymore. And I think that's what's happened over the past 5 years is these other companies have started doing it, and they aren't improving. They're just sitting there doing the same thing. It's like you're going to have to do something more. They could. I'm sure they have the resources where they could be the best. But they
absolutely.
choose not to.
And they don't. And the other thing is they don't care because I've got I'm gonna sit here and laugh all the way to the bank with the contract from Corsair.
Yeah, the Corsair don't give a crap. They don't care how scratchy it is.
No, they don't.
They just put it in, ship it out, and go. Thank you. Oh, you need another one? Sure. I bought 400,000 speed reds. So have fun.
Yeah, I think the only innovation they've done is make an RGB housing. The clear housings and the speed silvers, which has also been done.
It's like, and the innovation isn't, it's just smooth, making them smoother, making the tolerances a little better. It's like, with the money we know they have, they could do it.
Yeah.
But it probably won't happen.
Maybe one day.
Romer G's, though.
Get out.
I mean, but right, guys, in all honesty,
off our sponsorship.
But no. It's a meme, but like in all honesty, respect to Logitech for being like, screw Cherry, like, let's do our own.
It's true. They suck, but they went for it.
Yeah, they're like, hey, let's figure it out.
I think they started running and they couldn't stop at the point where they just should have done a Cherry clone and decided just to go, we're gonna do proprietary. Oh crap.
There was a meeting where they're like, we probably shouldn't have done this, and they were like, we still got to roll with it though.
Anyone who owns a Logitech keyboard is stuck with our keycaps.
It's like, you submitted that design? Dude, that was not supposed to be submitted. That was not a final product.
You said just make something that's not like Cherry.
Yeah, right. But what about the RGBs? It's got the hole in the center, so you can maximum RGB-ness.
Yeah, there's a couple of Logitech keyboards that have, technology-wise, have some really cool features. Mm-hmm. Like the ones where you can connect to multiple computers and you can just pick it up, and like the MX Master. But they have like the keyboard that has the dial, which UPOS has been doing. But they have a couple features, but then I'm like, oh, Logitech switches that.
Yeah. Well, and I've said this. We talked about this a long time ago, but no. VIA's getting close, but when it comes to RGB, we have not even scratched the surface of what those companies can do with their RGB.
Well, not even just RGB, the entire software of
lighting setup,
controlling the keyboard in general, changing the macros.
Like it was, I will say, and I found it in storage when I was getting Christmas stuff out. I found my old Razer Black Widow. Chroma, and I was like, I remember plugging that bad boy in and like playing Overwatch, and then like it would change and stuff would happen. I'm like, that's cool. That's just neat. I don't really care about that anymore. But the fact that we could do that was awesome. And
it would use up 50% of your memory too in the project.
But when when you try and do anything RGB, if you're like, I just want rainbows, and I have to hit 4 keys 6 times just to get a rainbow to spin. Like, there is the benefit of that. But once again, like you said, Romer G switches.
It's like you can have a dream every now and then of what a few people in our community could do if they had the resources of a company like that. Like,
it'd be nuts.
The amazing things that we could make.
Yep.
If we just had expendable millions and billions of dollars. Like the things that we have created with people that literally have no money. or they're like scrapping paychecks to pay for the prototype, or they're going negative on all the group buy runs, and they're as good as they are. Think about if you could be like, I could do 17 prototype rounds in a month.
Make it perfect.
Well, you could have the manufacturing be done next to you. You don't have to worry about using Translate to get your ideas across.
That one's bad. Throw it away.
Send them a message at noon and then go to sleep, and hopefully they respond. Sleep.
Yeah, but maybe one day.
Stateside
I don't know if I'm ready.
No, look at what happened with.
No, I don't think
it's not all it's cracked out to be.
I think there's a possibility for that. It might just take some
That would
time.
have to be a privatized.
It would have to be someone in the community or someone who knows someone.
Yeah, like he's saying, start it. Yeah, start the stateside.
Yeah, like American workers are lazy as piss, and they don't give a crap about anything. The Chinese workers are the most hardworking. They care so much about your project and you as their customer. The Americans are like, oh, sorry, bro, I forgot.
Might be.
Yeah, it's like, oh, does this really matter? It's a stupid keyboard. This isn't a gun. This isn't a giant machine piece for this $1 billion business. I don't care. So I think that's part of it. Kind of like the modern M0110. I just don't think they could get someone who cared enough.
Little Kona in the chat. Well, what if the big companies start to acquire Gateron? I mean,
it could be good or bad.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I don't think that would happen either.
I think Gateron. I think Kale maybe, but like very hard maybe. Gateron I think is too big.
Wide. Those switch companies are huge. Like MX style switches are not the only one. There's like hundreds.
Yeah.
Like every button you press in a car probably is made by. There's a lot of them probably made by Gateron. I know Alps still make switches. I just don't think they make them for keyboards. Like a Guitar Hero strumming thing had Alps switches in them. It's like they make so many different kinds of switches.
This is Nebulant posted by Fox Lab. A custom electrocapacitive keyboard from Plum Niz Keyboards.
That's actually huge.
Oh, yeah. That's the Topre clone keyboard people.
Yep. This is big. 2020 maybe? Could be a new trend. Who knows? Thank you, Nebulant, for the link. I'm personally not a Topre fan. But one day. And we still got the silo switches that are still waiting.
Yeah, those could be a thing.
Those could be
what happens.
Be big. So.
That's not going to do much. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of faith in that switch. The infrastructure would entirely have to change from MX to that switch for it to really take off. Because it has no
different footprint.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, it'd be
to change to
it's
it's
tough,
like the low pro.
But move that idea of like, hey, let's do something different is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool.
Is what's going to move it.
I think it'll take a while because most of the people who care to do that innovation aren't big enough to be able to just do it.
Yeah,
we're still building ourselves to a place where we could do that and it not risk everything.
Yeah, I think this Fox Lab thing is huge because this is a custom. This is a probably going to be 100% pre-built. Well, obviously, will be 100% pre-built board done in tandem with a true custom keyboard designer.
Yeah,
like it's going to be it looks like it's going to be a nice full design, full aluminum housing.
Ooh, I like Venom.
They say they're going to offer a MX mount plate and PC. PCB. Interesting.
I like Venom, and this is maybe a good question that we can all answer to end on because we have already asked our two ones from last time, but where do you think the community will be in 10 years?
Gosh, it's a long way. Do I need to go first?
No.
Are we all struggling?
I can go first. I just usually go first. I didn't want to hog going
That's
first.
fine.
I think that it will continue to grow, but I think that we're going to start seeing like splintered off of like different subsections of the community. I think we're going to see a lot of people who it will start splintering off of like, I don't really care as much about the board. I care more about switches and keycaps and the way it looks. I don't really care about the board. I don't, I'm happy with a square piece of metal. And then they're going to be the people that really are into the boards, could care less about keycaps. And then you kind of have these like the keycaps, switches, and boards. I think you'll see kind of them not divide completely by any means, but you'll see more focus. And like how there's already an artisan community, there's going to be that, and then there's going to be like, oh, these boards and versus these keycaps versus these switches. And then I think there's going to be a lot of the like old guard versus new guard.
Yeah, that's always.
I remember when GMK Olivia were 10 years ago. Like, so it'll be interesting to see. I think we'll see more vendors, and I think we'll eventually start to see GMK keycap sets that start getting stocked. I could potentially see an idea where a vendor gets big enough to where they can go up to a designer and go, hey, I mean, look, Dixie already has successfully doing now 2 sets. And there's a potential where Dixie in 5 years could go, I want 8008 and Dual Shot. I want those 2 to be just in stock because I can.
Yeah.
So, and I hope it gets to that point. That would be awesome. So,
yeah.
I think that they'll be in 10 years. That's a long time. I think
that's a long way.
I think you'll see an unopened, unshined set of GMK Olivia will sell for $5,000.
Dang, I opened mine like a couple months ago.
No, maybe actually, but that's not my my hot take. No, I think you'll have what Chewy said. I think you'll have stocked sets. I think the group buy model will be lessened. I think people will be more willing to put in money. I think you will see sets that will 100% control the market in a way of like, we are only going to purchase this many and use that as a selling point for their sets.
The limitation.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you'll see that because they know that they can, and they can use it as a way to get the profit that they would on a much larger group buy. I think
writing all this down.
I mean, hey, if you think about it, it'd be not a bad idea. I think what you'll also see is I foresee the high end community, your key colts, your TGRs, being 100% auction, going way up in price being closer to what it is on the aftermarket now. And aftermarket kind of evening itself out and being close to retail, if not under retail. I see I see it being hard for GMK sets to, specifically like keycaps, to retain their value over group buy in over 10 years. Like, think about how many people are in the community. If we continue this gradual increase of people, there's going to be so many sets. You have a down year. Now there's an influx of people trying to sell. Prices get lowered and lowered. There's a trickle effect already on GMK sets. When one set starts selling for $400, now all the other sets that were selling for $120 go up to $150. So it works the same way when it goes down. So I think you'll see that. I think sets will start selling at or below group buy price.
I think I agree with that. I think as far as keyboards go, I think the opposite of what you just said. I think that the big names are going to be able to produce more. Like, I know Key Cult wishes they could run 1,000.
Well, I wasn't saying like those specific designers. I think I say more of the high end. Like, there will be a high end that goes skyrockets in price. right?
Yeah.
Like there'll still
I
be
think
high quality stuff at a lower level, but the highest end, the most bespoke,
yeah.
will be.
Oh, just 'cause yeah, I could see things getting way crazier than they should be. Um, I think the aftermarket is going to become less of a thing in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I think there will be much higher numbers of every. So, like, I could see a set in 10 years hitting 5, 7,000 if we're already at 2 and 3 right now.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't see those holding much value, and I don't think that that should be the reason they exist. Is just for you to say that you have something that's valuable. That's not
Mm-hmm.
why it exists. A lot of people think that's. I mean, they're just like, I have Olivia, it's worth this much. Like,
Okay.
and other guys like, I have it because I like the pink. It's like, so I think the more it goes, the less that's going to be a thing. I mean, I know the vendors are going to get bigger. A lot of people think it's bad because they're like, sense of community is dying. They don't care what we think anymore.
It's gonna die.
Um,
That's the other thing.
but it's
When you have like,
gonna,
well, the thing is like if you think about specifically like keycap sets, right? We are getting so good at running keycap sets. We don't necessarily need to have the same interest checks like we did before,
yeah,
where people are having to have input on what keys should be added, things like that. It's,
yeah.
it's gonna be gone in that sense.
Which the community right now has a sense of I am owed like everything that runs the community deserves a say in what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
We're
kind
already
of
we're already
yeah.
moving
Because
away
at the
from that.
beginning, the projects only happened because the community made them.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're moving into, like you said, where projects we already know all of the information that we'll be asking. We have 50 sets in the past to look at the data and already know the answer. I don't need the same 100 people to tell me the same answer over and over and over again. I already know it. Um, and eventually, once it's 10 years in the past and Novel Keys and Project Keyboard and Canon Keys and Dixie Mech have run 150 key sets, we know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nike knows what kind of shoe you want before you even know you want it.
Yep.
You see it and you're like, holy crap. I would have never known I wanted that. So I think we're going to get there like every industry does.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to think it's bad, but I think when you get to that point, that's when the innovation can start happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, companies may have 10 to 15 employees. You could have a design division in Dixie Mech that their job is to design things that you want. It's not just me. Which there's goods and bads, but I think because the people who started it, I don't think 10 years is enough time for it to get polluted
Yeah.
and be ruined like some other communities. Maybe in 50 years, 20 years. But
Yeah. I think the only other two things I'm worried about, Cyrus has said this, is I think we're going to start seeing more and more people flipping. And we're already seeing it. It's already a bad thing now. It's going to get even worse. And you're going to see people who are buying 10 sets of a key set so that
yeah,
they can flip it. We're already
I
seeing,
think we've seen that with Olivia.
yeah, and we're going to see a lot of people trying to flip. And it kind of stinks, but they're literally, you can't have a community this big and this successful without that happening.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like the shoe game. No one gets
Yeah.
pissed that you flip some Yeezys.
Yep.
That's just the way of life. That's like the
That's
only
how
way
it
you can
is.
even buy them.
So also wear your shoes, people.
My question is, I wonder also if the community will split again, like in a sense of like we were in mechanical keyboards, right? It was mechanical keyboards long time, like that was just keyboards, and then
Yep.
it split to like custom. I wonder if there will be another split. Like, will this iteration of customs become so mainstream that there's a need for another split?
Hand wired 2025.
I think it could be good in a sense. I think 10 years in the future, it's not going to be a one giant large community where everyone knows everybody. It's
Yeah.
going to be a bunch of small friend groups
Mm-hmm.
like the NBA, I'm sure started as a group of 50 people that all knew each other and loved playing the game. Now you have your group of 10 people that love play fantasy basketball.
Yep.
Like, and you're your own community in yourself. Like, I think it will get to that point where it's just me and my 20 friends that have our Discord and talk about keyboards. I don't have to be in a server with 5,000 people.
Yeah. So the last thing, and this is something I'm interested to see, is long-term effects of lubing and long-term effects of soldering, or how well the board was actually built. I'm curious to
I've
know,
never thought about that.
like, am I gonna have to how long are these stabilizers gonna last realistically?
Wow. That's a good
Like,
thought.
what happens if this lube just gets so screwed beyond belief that I have to desolder my entire board because I can't get the stabilizers out? And then what happens? Fox Lab 75.
my orange 75, yeah.
When you have a PCB that's not good, or not good, but not
available.
You're not available, and then now you have a and now you're sitting there with.
That's probably the biggest. I think lubing is less of a thing, like relubing, and more of this PCB died and they don't exist anymore.
Mhm.
And then when it's 10 years and 5,000 different designs exist, it's not just 50. Your board's basically useless. Like the M65A has probably seen one of the worst things of this, and the Canoe, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the M65A is probably the one that's already seeing this at a small scale, where all the PCBs sucked, and they all, like 90% of them probably don't work anymore. And the company who ran it basically doesn't exist to give you a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably many M65A owners that have a dead board, nothing about it.
Yep.
And that will probably happen on a huge, large scale on a lot of these boards that were run by a random dude on Geekhack, who then had a baby and now doesn't exist anymore because he's moved on.
Yep. Hello, Apiary Keyboards. Be sure to check her out. But yeah, that's why, I've talked about this a lot, where I have a very hard time buying a 60% board that has a what's the word I'm looking for, Osiris?
Proprietary.
PCB.
Thank you. Having a proprietary PCB, because I want to be able to have, if I ever get out of this hobby, we actually just talked about this the other day. If I ever got out of this hobby, I would keep 1, 2 or 3 boards, and have a backup to everything. And then I would probably sell everything, buy like 5 or 6 PCBs for what I need, and then peace out.
Yeah.
Keep them sealed so that if anything goes wrong, I at least have the for the next 10 years.
I'm interested to see if in 10 years we'll have like the vintage blacks. Like, what will be the equivalent? Like, will there be like a
vintage Inks?
The one dude that didn't lube his holy pandas and has had them in a board for 15 years or 10 years,
perfectly worn in.
They're worn in, amazing. Are they going to be the best thing ever? Like, are we going to be idiots for lubing our switches? We should have just toughed it out for 5 years and broken them in.
It's like vintage, new old stock OG Inks round 1. No leaf issue.
So that's just something that I've been thinking about for a time. Because I forget, dielectric grease, that does not last longer than like 7 months. And so
I think we need to hire some lube scientists onto these.
Yeah. I'm sitting here, I'm hitting all these boards with 205 grade 0, but if it lasts a year, great. But what happens 3-4 years down the road and I'm still typing away on this thing and then my space bar just stops working?
Just send them all to Nathan.
We need science.
Hot take: Christone 129 is not great.
Will we start seeing like keyboard repair places like phones?
That'd be.
Or is this just services of people fixing bad traces on PCBs and stuff like that? Just opens up more opportunity.
Yeah, more opportunities for industry, for people to make money. Apiary, wait, that's me. That's literally me.
Fix keyboards.
True.
Commercialization of the community.
Apiary's a sellout.
She's just a
sellout.
stooge and a sellout.
she's just in it for the money.
Dude, people that make profit is evil.
Yeah, profit, money is evil, dude. I can't believe you put that Dixie cap in Burgundy round 3.
God, I can't believe
How dare you?
Who would just senselessly shill for a company?
Who
Come on,
thinks
people.
that they can do work in a job and get paid for it? It's just crazy.
I want cost.
Yeah.
And I want you to take
That
the
is
hit on
crazy.
shipping.
Yeah, like when I go to a restaurant, I ask that waiter, "You getting paid for this?" Because that is not okay.
When I go to Walmart and I buy my gallon of milk, I ask for a 15-cent refund if they sold 1,000 this week.
How many of my gallons of milk? Can I get this milk at Group Buy?
That's pretty funny. I've never thought about that. That makes it sound even dumber. How many cars did I filled up today, Chevron? I'm pretty sure I just saw the 1000th car come through here.
Check back later. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Check back later in the week for the bulk.
Hey, I spent $30,000 on this car. Where's my $8 refund? This is bullshit.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that just makes it seem really dumb.
But does your milk support 40%?
What kind of kits of milk can you get?
Oh, man.
Only 2%.
It would be also be interesting to me if a profile, like whether it's keycaps or if a layout just completely died in 10 years.
Yeah, it's called 65% and it's going to die.
Not if I have anything to do about it.
Oh, I will come to you and start deleting files.
I could see some profiles dying out. Just ones that aren't used anymore.
I think.
Or the company will try to keep them alive.
Yeah, I think the only thing, the biggest what if is going to be like 75%, because I think there are going to be so many different ways to do it that people are going to be like, I don't care anymore. Just give me the KBD 75. Just give me that.
Yeah, I think
box
that
layout.
As far as the future, that is why I think that the design of the keyboard is going to be the more important thing. Because eventually we're going to, the amount of different layouts is going to be reached.
Right.
You can only lay out this keyboard so many different ways. And then once you reach that, you have to be unique in a different way. So, and then even that is going to be even harder and harder.
Minivan dead by 2030.
Maybe. Well, I think we might have to wrap it up there. I think
Teo Types is a gamer now.
Yeah, he's a gamer now.
He needs to get that RGB up, man.
Maybe we'll get into gold. You need to get the RGB so you can get into Gold Nova.
Why the heck don't you have all the pink and purple lights everywhere behind you? That's what gamers do.
Does Chevron support singing?
Chevron support singing.
Yes. Oh yeah, mounting is another thing. I'm sure we'll see a ton of different mounting styles. A lot of them that fail, but were tried. And then we'll just come back to isolation mount.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Dixie, thank you. This has been a blast. We'll have you back. We'll probably have you back around Mech Madness.
Okay.
I imagine we'll get you back on here. We'll talk some college
stats.
basketball. We'll only talk about college basketball.
Talk about a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do.
We tell everyone we're gonna unveil the bracket, but it's just unveiling the actual March Madness bracket. We're just like, what do you mean?
No, we didn't spell it wrong.
The winner on stream, but they have to listen to us talk about college basketball for 2 hours first before it gets unveiled.
I'm sure we could easily just create a sports show, completely separate.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I'm glad we were able to get you on. So be sure, guys, check out GMK Dual Shot, $119 base kit. It is an awesome keycap set. I think it's one of the first sets that Osiris and I might probably both be getting in on in a long time. So be sure to check that out. We definitely It has our stamp of approval.
Oh, that's
That
good.
means literally nothing because make your own decisions. But be sure to check that out. Other two sponsors, though, Zap Cables. Be sure to check him out. He makes some of the best cables in the world. I know for a fact Dixie uses Zap Cables.
Oh yeah, for sure. That
And
guy
then,
is.
yeah, he's amazing.
Good dude.
And then last but not least, switchmod.net/Mechs on deck for 4% off. All your lube that will wither away. I'm kidding, it won't. Don't hold me to that. 4% off lube, springs, caps,
Guaranteed for
stickers,
47
all
years.
that stuff. Yep, guaranteed. 47 years. On the 48th year, sorry, you're done. It's over. Although, I guess there is something to say that it can sit on a shelf for like 20 years and be. So
Yeah, I think the lube will be okay. At least the Krytox variants will be fine.
yeah,
If it's not Crowbit's fault.
yeah, it is not. It's not Crumpet's fault. He's just in it to make the money and then get out in like 2 years.
Of course.
He's gonna make the money and then be like, he's gonna release a Reddit thread that says, "Haha, gotcha." Peace out.
This
It's
is
just gonna
time
be-
released lube.
It's just
Yeah.
gonna be. It was all a meme, and then people's keyboards are gonna start failing like 6 months after that.
This lube is specifically created to fail exactly 4 years after you use it.
How many key presses are you at? Oh, 13,000. Ooh, run low, bud. Time's
Ooh.
running out.
Oh man.
You better remap that space bar.
Turns into glue after 50 hours.
But no,
Oh, but-
we definitely appreciate everyone coming by. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a good time, and appreciate you if you liked it. Join our Discord. Come hang out with us. We're there all the time talking. You'll get to see Mykonos post as much as possible.
He's Mr. Clout now.
Yeah, he's Mr. Cloud now.
Mr. Clout #1.
And then of course, come check us out on YouTube. We have a show there that comes out every Tuesday morning. And don't forget to actually fill out that questionnaire.
I can post it one more time.
We are trying to get some input on some new things that we're looking to do, and we want to see what everyone thinks. So if you could please check out that questionnaire, fill it out. We want your input to see how we can better expand the channel for 2020.
So it looks like I Am Me, You Are You is on. Our buds. Gonna go ahead and start that raid.
Do it.
So
Fun.
if you haven't seen I Am Me,
Albeit-
You Are You, he came on here for a great talk. One of the smartest, most like knowledgeable people in the community when it comes to building boards and stuff like that. He also looks like Paul from Paul's Hardware. So he's just a nice, it's like a familiar face you get to watch.
I'll be at SoCal this weekend if anybody's going to be there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
go hang out with Dixie. Unfortunately, we won't be there, but I don't know.
Fly out tomorrow morning.
There you go.
Fun.
All right. Well, last but not least, buy GMK Dual Shot. Get yourself a switch tester.
Roll Tide.
That's all you need. Roll Tide.
Boomer sooner. All right, roll it. Let's go.
Wrap it up.